Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. I still say happy Sunday, and I'm like, damn, Sunday. Is it really happy if it's Sunday? I did what did I do? I got a lot of my chores out of the way yesterday, and then you know, I had some time to relax at night, and even then I was still like, damn, like, is the weekend really almost over so soon? I feel like 2 days is just not enough, man. In fact, how about a 4-day weekend? How about not even a 3-day weekend? You need 4 days. You need 1 and 2 days to like split up your chore work. You need 1 day for just strict relaxing, and then you need 1 day for mental preparation. I think that is the model we should strive for. Or I was gonna say every other day go to work. Nah. I think have 4 days on the weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Hear me out. Actually, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday. Maybe a little revolutionary, and maybe a little against the grain, but I don't know. It could work. Monday, Tuesday. And then Thursday? Sounds like too little. Sounds like too little going on. Anyways, if you like to mark yourself present for today's superhero chatting stream, let me see some okay, how about if you had superpowers, what would it be? Tell me that as an emoji, alright? Okay? Alright, I was gonna say an emoji, 1 emoji, 2 emojis. You know, how about like 3 to 4? I was gonna say as many as you want, but like if you're gonna just do a string of emojis, I actually, fuck it. If you want to do a string of emojis, if you want to be an all-powerful being, go ahead. So if you like to mark yourself present for today's superhero chatting stream, show me what your superhero power would be as emojis. Let me see that in the chat, and you'll get a special hello from me. Eins, welcome, good morning. What is that? Is it like super strength? Oh, and a fly? Super strength and flying? For a second, I thought you would turn into a fly. I was thinking like, yeah, I guess. Super strength and flying, that's a good one. That's a really good one. What would mine be? Let me see if I can work it into my introduction. Dude, there was like one when I was watching the movies where I was like, oh, that'd be pretty sick. Oh, you know, I'll hold it. I'll hold that thought. Here's my real superpower. Full-time teleporter, part-time VTuber. I'm Lucid Multimedia's sweetest demon. Mamana Boomi DESU. It's nice to meet you. I watched David Cronenberg's The Fly. That won't go. I've heard about that movie. Isn't that like a body horror movie? I don't know. Does he turn into a fly or something? No, it's like an older movie too, right? I don't know much about it besides the fact that it's like pretty gross. I used to not mind bugs growing up. But there's something about like maybe like dead bugs or like bugs up close. I used to not mind bugs growing up until when I was in Hawaii. There was like a lot of cockroaches and stuff. So, you know, you leave your cockroach killers out and about quite often, and then, you know, they'll like turn on their back and they'll do like crisscross applesauce with all their legs. Oh, God, I hate that. And yeah, once I moved from there and I experienced my first winter and then my second winter and my third winter and fourth and so on, and you know, you don't see bugs coming out when it gets cold outside. In fact, you hardly really see bugs like that at all if you're not somewhere that's like consistently tropical. And Yeah, being away from bugs has definitely made me more scared. Not scared, I don't know, disgusted by them. I can't imagine turning into a fly. Is that part of the horror in the movie? The fact that like ew, you're turning into a fly, turning into a bug, not just any bug, like one of the nastiest bugs. I used to hate, no, I actually loved the first Men in Black, but I really hated the cockroach guy. I thought he was so disgusting. The fact that that's a Vincent D'Onofrio from Daredevil, Mr. Kingpin himself, never would have guessed. Never would have guessed. If I had the chance to meet him, I'll be like, you know, your performance as the cockroach guy in the first Men in Black really stuck with me. I think about that at least once a month for like the last, you know, 20 years. What was I gonna say? What else was I gonna say? Was I gonna say anything else? I don't think so. I don't think so. I just wanted to talk about superheroes today. There's been a lot of superhero movies that's been coming out. Maybe I should put the thumbnail here. Maybe I'll do like a small thumbnail. Make it really small. And I'll put it here. And I'll take away my logo. There you go. Yeah, have you guys, here, let me do the poll first. Have you guys seen, have you seen Superman 2025 or Fantastic Four? Fantastic Four! Yes, both. Yes. Oh, best. Yes. Superman. Superman. Yes. F4. Nar. Okay. Have you guys seen these movies yet? Usually, I haven't seen any, unfortunately. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Should I talk spoilers? That's one of the things that I was worried about. I know I said I was gonna do the poll on Friday, but I forgot to after I logged off. If you didn't notice, I completely forgot to do the thumbnail too until like 12 hours ago. I want to watch them though. Okay, you know what? Should I make it spoilers off? I think I could walk around without spoilers. Maybe I could. I'll just have to change, let's see. Let me add that to the tweet. Let me add that to the tweet as well. Okay, let's go to here. Spoiler free. Spoiler free. And then, can I edit the tweet? Oh, I can. What's up? I'm gonna say spoilers on the JK. I change. Maybe I could do edit at the bottom. JK, I changed my mind. Spoilers off. There we go. Okay, there you go. All right, and the tweet is updated. Now we have full non-spoilers ahead. And if there's anything, it's been like what, a week since I watched these movies, and I've just been consuming content after content after content about these movies. So if you want to go in 100% blind, I would advise to mute your ears. Otherwise, I will try and be as vague and as light as possible. But I don't want to just talk about these two movies, you know? I want to talk about the superhero movie genre as a whole. It's something that I honestly grew up with it a lot. I grew up mostly on Marvel, not really DC. What about you guys? When you guys were watching superhero medium, what was even like more popular back in the day? I feel like when you're thinking about like, oh, name your superhero, right? Like if it's saying this like maybe 15-ish years ago or something, like when I was a kid, I would think like, oh, you know, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, right? So it's like the first two that you think of are going to be DC superheroes. And then even then you had like the Justice League cartoons and all of that. I feel like at least from my little knowledge, DC superheroes were kind of like the superheroes. And then, of course, like as the MCU got popular, you know, they were able to kind of throw their IP in there a little bit more than just Spider-Man. If I were thinking back then, I mean, I guess you could name the X-Men too. In my household, wait, let me pull OBS back up. There we go. Oh, speaking of superheroes, hi Spider-Man. Also, hi Chibi, welcome. Good morning. Good morning, both Chibi and Spider-Man. I hope you guys are having a lovely day. I've recently decided to change this from a spoiler talk to a spoiler-free talk. So if you guys could also, anybody in the chat, keep your discussion spoiler-free, that would be a great, immense help. We want everybody in here to enjoy the movie, if they haven't had the chance to see it yet. With how quickly movies are in and out of the theater, I try and like watch it as soon as possible. I'm one of those people who really enjoys watching, I think especially like superhero movies in the movie theater with other people. Not just because like, you know, oh, I gotta watch it before I get spoiled. Because I am rather invested in like these kinds of worlds and stuff. I like to see what's happening. But I think, you know, I'm not much of like a comic book person at all. I'll admit that. I've really only engaged with like superheroes through movies or like video games or TV shows. And, you know, I think these movies, they do draw a lot of hardcore fans and stuff. And I think it's really nice to be able to share that joy and experience with other people, even if I'm like not necessarily 100% in tune with it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Well, thank you, Ainz, for the message. I'm gonna go ahead and pin that. Thanks. Thank you. Alright, let's see. Let me check in on the poll. We have 40% of people say you saw both. And then 60% of people said they haven't seen either. What I think is interesting is that nobody has seen like just one or the other, which I think is really good. You know, there's like a lot of talk of like, oh, you know, it's not even. I was gonna say there's a lot of talk between DC and like MCU. I guess it's now DCU versus MCU. Now that's not the DCEU. We have the DCU versus MCU, but I feel like that's not really a thing right now. I feel like it's more like Snyderverse versus like DCU. I think that's the most discourse I've seen when it comes to these movies. Most people are just like happy to have two good superhero movies come out back to back. That's how I felt personally. I was like, hell yeah. I hope both of them are really good because I want to have a fun time when I go to the movie theater. Anyways, yeah, I grew up on Marvel, not really DC. In my household, of course, we watched the Spider-Man movies, and of course, we watched the X-Men movies. I don't really remember much of the X-Men movies, though. I think we watched the Spider-Man movies more frequently, but I do remember, like Wolverine going to Japan. I think I watched that in the movie theater, actually. Whatever X-Men one that was. I remember the girl with like the really long nails, and she was fighting Wolverine in the parking lot, and I was like, that's such a cool superpower. I want to be like that. I think I might have watched that in like 5th grade or 6th grade, because I remember I was growing out my nails at that time. That was like the age where like not all girls, but like me and my friends were growing out our nails like as long as we can. And I wouldn't be surprised if I had that sort of image in my subconscious. And then the other thing I remember about the X-Men movies is that kid who had like the wings growing out his back. Was it at the end of the movie? I don't remember, but I thought it was so disgusting. I don't remember how it looked now, but I remember like as a kid that scene terrified me because he had the wings like piercing his skin, and I remember he was picking at it or something, looking in the mirror in his bathroom. And I think that was like right before the other mutants came in, was like, hey, you should come to our school or something like that. I don't know. It's been, I don't think I've seen these movies in like 20 plus years. I've seen them as a kid a couple of times, like a handful of times, and then that was it. That was really it. And it didn't really like, did I understand that these were all interconnected, I wonder? I mean, I did know that like, the characters came up within each other. I don't know. But like, you know, we were watching the X-Men and the Spider-Man movies, and we would watch them as often as we would watch something like, I don't know, my family did a lot of movie nights. We'd be watching like The Fifth Element, that one went double platinum in our household. Maybe like Star Wars or something. Or so it's like stuff that we would watch a handful of times, but not super often. So that's probably why I remember like characters and like scenes, but not really much of plot points and stuff. I didn't really get it, understand it until I started watching MCU movies, I think. Ryan, welcome. Hello, I hope you're having a lovely Sunday. Here, let me just bring something up for you guys to look at while I'm yapping. Oh. I set up my hand cam. I changed my desk, and I have my hand cam set up now. So now I can talk with my hands. I'll try and do that. I'll try and do that for fun. Here, let me get this little stress ball thing so I can like fidget while I chat. This will help me keep my brain together. Okay. So after watching all those Marvel movies, what did you guys grow up watching? Like I said, a bulk of like my movies that I watched at home was the X-Men movies and the Spider-Man movies, but I know that you have like the like old Superman movies, and you have like the old Batman movies. We didn't own those DVDs. We didn't watch those at all. I think I might have seen like clips from the old Batman movie, the Tim Burton one. Just one, right? Or is there two? I don't know. I have no clue. But I didn't watch those at all. We definitely did not have those in the house. I don't even know for whatever reason. I think my dad was just hip to like the modern movies. I don't know. But I think that definitely like helped me develop a bit of a bias towards not X-Men, but like Marvel characters more. Also, there is two of the Tim Burton ones. I've seen like bits and pieces when I was scrolling through like TV. It kind of gives me, it's probably because it's like an older movie, but like when I was watching it, the set kind of felt like watching like the live action Grinch movie. I got like a similar vibe from it. 1989 and 1992, that's not as old as I thought it was. I thought it would be like mid to late 80s for both of them. But the fact that it's like, you know, on the verge of a new decade. 89 is basically like 1990, right? I grew up watching Justice League. I never caught Justice League when it was on. It came on Cartoon Network, right? Because I don't remember like ever changing the channel from it. Namaha, welcome. Good morning. I hope you're having a lovely Sunday. Oh my gosh, wait. There is something missing. This goes up here. There we go. Something went wrong. I was like, wait, where's the text? Spider-Man, the older Batman movies, and the Christopher Nolan Batman movies got into the MCU when I first started Iron. I'm going to talk about the Christopher Nolan ones in a second. I also grew up watching Batman the Animated Series, Superman. They had a Superman animated series. I remember seeing, I think I had the toys for Batman the Animated Series and Batman Beyond. Because Batman Beyond had that like really like skinny legend Batman one, right? And he had like the super cool like red bat on his suit, right? I really liked. We had the toy for that, me and my brother, and I really liked the way that he felt. You know what I mean? Because his design is so slick, right? He has like the really like kind of pointy ears, right? And his plastic was like really slick and stuff. I don't know. We had the toys, but I don't think we've ever watched the shows. I don't remember my brother watching the show, but I think like when you're buying for toys, you're looking at that suit, which, you know, a testament to how good a suit can be. You look at that and you're like, that's Batman, even though he doesn't look like what you would think Batman looks like. That's Batman. I want that Batman because that Batman looks edgy and cool. Yeah, I'm gonna take, I have, sorry for all the noise. I have this that's hanging off my microphone, and it keeps like dingling because my microphone's kind of sagging, my boom mic arm thing. I don't want it to like dingle and you know, me accidentally keep touching it. And this right here is a Mamana Boomi keychain that you can get right now on shop.welcometolucid.com. We also have this available as stickers. I don't think we have any more of these though, unfortunately. I guess it was an Off-Kai 2024 exclusive. But yeah. Yeah. I'll leave it right there. Oh, Static Shock! I did watch like maybe a couple of episodes of Static Shock. I didn't realize, even up until now, that it was like a DC thing. Oh, Teen Titans! I definitely watched Teen Titans. Totally watched Teen Titans. I mean, who didn't, right? Definitely watched that one. But like, I think that might have been like the only DC cartoon that I really watched. Static Shock was like every once in a while. I think it might have been because I was doing my training in Hawaii at the time. So like all the regular like TV shows were showing a bit more of an odd hour. I don't know if they like, maybe did they change the time zone? I don't think so. I don't think that they would hold like broadcasts back. If they'd be like, oh, it's at 7/8 Central, right? It would be, no, it would be like 8/7 Central if they're gonna show a movie. I don't know. I feel like we did get movies at like regular time though. Maybe at like 6 or 7. Maybe we got like the Pacific broadcast. Yeah. Anyways. Getting a little off topic. Yeah, I played, like I watched the Marvel movies, didn't really watch too much DC, and I ended up playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance in the 5th grade. Have you guys heard of that game? We played it on the PS3. My family was like really into split screen gaming when I was in like 5th grade. We first started with Ghost Recon, then we played Call of Duty World at War, and thrown into that was a Marvel Ultimate Alliance. We would like stay up so late. It felt really late. Maybe it was like 10 or 11, and we'd play that like really late on school nights. And I remember like, especially in 5th grade, I would feel kind of cool, I guess, being like, oh man, I'm so sleepy today. And my friends would be like, oh, why are you so sleepy today, Boomi? I'll be like, oh, because I was up playing video games all night with my parents. I feel like, I don't know. I mean, I guess it is like a really cool bonding thing though. In Marvel Ultimate Alliance, it's like a top-down sort of co-op game where, I don't know, you're like fighting for something. Really no clue what the game is about. That was a lot of my introductions to like all the other Marvel characters outside of the X-Men. Kind of half an introduction, I would say, because my dad, he made us all be like X-Men characters. I don't know how many, there might have been like 20 people you could choose from on the roster, but he made us all be characters from the X-Men. We didn't even get a chance to like browse and look. Because if you choose characters from like the same group or like sort of like same categories, you get bonus points. So my dad was always Wolverine, and that means we couldn't change what team we wanted to be on. I was Storm. My mom, what did my mom pick? I don't know who my mom picked actually. What did my brother pick? I don't remember. I remember that I was Storm though, so I could fly and like summon thunderstorms, and I was just button mashing, summoning thunderstorms all over the place. I do remember for quite a bit my mom was playing as Captain Marvel. And I'm just now making the connection that the Captain Marvel that she played, is it the same Captain Marvel from the MCU? I remember the Captain Marvel in the game that we played. She was wearing like that like one piece like bathing suit looking thing, and she was flying and stuff. And I was like, wow, she's like Storm but blonde, just because she flies. I also loved how Static Shock would tackle issues and try to be positive with their message. That's the vibe that I got from Static Shock. It kind of felt like in a good way, like a PBS cartoon mixed with like something from Teen Titans, you know. Gotta love that my parents are cooler than your parents. Hell yeah, especially when we played COD all night. I did quit the MCU after Endgame, and yeah, I saw Deadpool and Wolverine. It was awesome. I need to see Guardians 3 and Thunderbolts, but other than that, no other MCU has been interesting to me. I would say watch Guardians 3. I think Thunderbolts. You know, I'll give you my thoughts on that in a second if you guys don't mind holding the thoughts. Let me go through my pretext, and then we'll talk modern movie in just a second. Let's see. Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and then I remember, and so let's just talk about the MCU. I remember the first time watching the MCU movies. I remember watching the start of it. I don't really remember watching to go see Iron Man, but I do know, I think at my parents' house I still have like my ticket for Iron Man 2. Actually, I wonder if it's in like my senior like book. My senior year we had like a project. I wonder if I put it in there. But either way, I had the ticket for Iron Man 2. What was I trying to say? Okay, I remember watching the start of the MCU and then thinking like how cool the concept of like a comic book universe was, but I didn't realize, I mean, I don't think any of us at the time realized that like history was being made, that like the industry was going to change forever, you know? I don't really remember seeing Iron Man 1 in theaters, but I remember going to see The Incredible Hulk at like the local movie theater. It was really small. It was like a small locally owned movie theater that showed movies like 2 months after they were done being in the theaters, and it was really cheap. And like, you know, you got some people who just bring their badass kids over there so that way they could like shut them up for 2 hours, because I remember I tried to watch the new Alice in Wonderland there, and kids were complaining and yelling at their mom the entire time that their movie was boring. So you can imagine how like mid, I guess, my The Incredible Hulk viewing was. I don't really remember too much of the movie, but I went there with like my middle school friend. Well, we're still in elementary school at the time, but I went there with my friend, and you know, you just kind of go over there to the movies as like a 5th, 6th grader to feel like you're grown and alone. And we went to go see The Incredible Hulk, and I did not realize at the time that my life would change forever is seeing Tony Stark appear at the end credit scene. For some reason, I didn't really think too much about like, you know, Nick Fury showing up at the end of the post-credit scene, because that one was Hulk was at the bar, right? And then Nick Fury, he was at the bar with Hulk, and then Tony Stark comes up, and then he's like, "Hey, dude." He said exactly that. He said, "Hey, dude." Maybe we can watch it. Maybe you can watch it. Let me see if I can find it. Can we watch it? Will we get copyrighted? Maybe I shouldn't, just in case. You know what? I won't, just in case. I should have asked staff beforehand. But I remember like at the time thinking like it was just like, you know, Robert Downey Jr. And I've never seen Robert Downey Jr. in anything outside of Iron Man, you know, because it was kind of like his big career comeback, right? I did not know who he was. I didn't know what he was in. So I just thought like, oh, maybe it's that actor that played Iron Man and he's like, you know, got a role in The Incredible Hulk. But then he like, doesn't he introduce himself as Tony Stark? And that blew my mind. I was like, what? What is he doing here? What is he in the wrong movie? Like, I legitimately thought that it was like a haha silly, like fourth wall breaking cameo crossover kind of thing. I did not realize that a cinematic universe was being made. And of course, like they released the other movies and stuff. And I remember when the Avengers was coming out, like once you started piecing together like, oh my god, yeah, they are making an Avengers movie. I remember counting down the movies, and it was in the post-credit scene for, was it like Iron Man 2 or was it Thor? I don't remember, but I remember like counting down the movies because I thought we were gonna get like, oh, we're gonna get an Iron Man, we're gonna get a Thor, we're gonna get Incredible Hulk, and we're gonna get a Captain America, right? Well, I actually didn't. I don't know, did I really keep up with like what movies were coming out? I just remember seeing at the end of one of those trailers being tired of like, oh, we have another movie to wait for before we get to the Avengers, right? And then I remember like one of the post-credit scene was the trailer for Captain America, the first Avenger, and I sat there and I thought, oh my god, I gotta sit through another movie? Can we just get to the Avengers already? Oh, Iron Man 2. Okay, so that explains it. Okay, so they found Iron Man, or no, they found Thor's hammer at the end of Iron Man 2. I actually found Thor's hammer as well. Wait, don't look. Hey, the battery's dead. Can you hear that? It's supposed to glow. It's supposed to glow and make that noise. What? This must be a fake. I thought I was worthy. What if I just do just the light? The light doesn't even come on. Can you tell? I don't think it even comes on. It looks dark as hell in there. Okay, anyways. If you play a clip from Marvel to react, okay. It's considered fair use. Okay. Let's see that post-credit scene. Let me find it. Oh, but I have to sit through ads, man. I don't have premium on this account. Let's see. That was Incredible Hulk post-credit scene. Tony Stark recruit. Oh, so Nick Fury wasn't even there. I have not rewatched this movie. I don't know if I like. I don't think I like disliked it, but I didn't care for it when I saw it in the movie theater. I think that's kind of how I feel about like a lot of the. I know people are like, oh, you know, Marvel miss and stuff, but I feel like a lot of the early movies I kind of felt that way too, personally. Like, I don't really know if I care for this movie. Here, let me get all of this stuff out the way. Put this here, and let's hide this for a second.
Reload.
Oh, is that Ross?
Reload.
You know, at first, when we're watching the well, is it Brave New World? I was kind of like, how could I forget his name? How could I? Han Solo, Indiana Jones. Shoot. I can't grab it right now, but yeah, you know, I was thinking like, oh, that's kind of an odd choice. Yes, Harrison Ford.
General.
But it's like, I don't know. It kind of, you could have fooled me. If you didn't know who Harrison Ford was, could have fooled me.
You should talk. You should listen.
The audio's a bit quiet.
I told you we were putting a team together. we.
Is that it? Oh, I thought he goes and talks to. Oh, so it's not. It was never Hulk. Okay. Well, I mean, I got the setting right. It's Iron Man coming to talk to Ross for putting a team together. During this moment, I was like, who could that possibly be?
Smell of stale beer and defeat. You know, I hate to say I told you so, General, but that super soldier program was put on ice for a reason.
Super soldier program. Huh. They only changed the actors for Ross because the original actor. Oh, I see. I see. I mean, that makes sense. It's been a long time between these two movies. I think Harrison Ford did a pretty good job. Because it's like, even when I'm watching this one, I have a lot of thoughts for Brave New World too. But like, even as I'm watching this one, the way that he like,
that super soldier program was
there's like mannerisms that he really like, you know, is able to capture. Like when he turns around.
Much more reliable.
Stark.
General.
You always wear such nice suits.
Touche.
It's Stark. At that time, I was like, oh, Tony Stark. But it's like, you know, he's walking in with the suit. How am I supposed to know this is Tony Stark and not just Robert Downey Jr. looking dapper? But yeah, yeah, that cutscene really mind-blowed me. Mind-blowed me to a crazy eruption and explosion. And then at the end of, you guys said, what was it? Was it the trailer for, was it at the end of Thor post-credit scene? Here, let me look this up. Let's see. Thor post-credit scene. I think Thor post-credit scene. I'm gonna need to talk to. Which one was the Captain America 4 trailer? Okay, well, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. Captain America 4, Captain America trailer. Oh my god, dude, there's so many fucking movies, dude. I can't even keep my own thoughts straight. Let's see the Thor poster.
At TD Bank, we're focused on you, so you can focus on what matters most.
Yeah, my baby matters the most. Isn't this one, they show the Tesseract? Can you believe Thor came out in 2011? It feels a lot later than that. But Avengers came out in 2012, right?
So you're the man behind all this? It's quite a labyrinth.
Yeah, I remember this.
I was thinking
They
that
did
taking me
such a
down
good
here
job.
to kill me.
Okay, let me turn this down a bit. But it's like, you see, they got the Tesseract in there and stuff. I feel like they did. I think that's another issue. They did such a good job at setting up the next movie with the post-credits scene. And I do feel like Marvel realizes now that they might be like spreading themselves too thin with all of this like other medium coming out. But it's like, I don't know, it's like, it's supposed to be a teaser for what's coming next. But nothing is really like connecting with each other as well as they did back in the day.
Much smarter than I am.
I have a lot to work with. The Foster theory, a gateway to another dimension. It's unprecedented. Isn't it?
Also,
Legend.
I saw I saw a tweet the other day where somebody said, like, it's like they had like a now reading tweet, so they were just kind of posting that they were reading like the Ultimate Marvel comics, which I heard has like an insane storyline, but they were surprised that Nick Fury was a Caucasian man. And I was thinking, like, you know, that's so true. Because I remember in Marvel Ultimate Alliance, right, Nick Fury was the Caucasian man. The only way that I was able to know that, like, that Nick Fury and this Nick Fury were the same guy was because of the eye patch. I remember asking my dad, I was like, is this the same Nick Fury from the game? He's like, yeah. And I think it's so crazy, like, how well Samuel L. Jackson was able to, like, not just fit this role. Didn't they, like, was it, like, one of the Marvel comics, like, they used Samuel L. Jackson's face like before, or not. I don't remember. And then they were like, oh, let's cast him. I don't know, either way. But like Samuel L. Jackson does such a good Nick Fury that it's like nobody even like questions it, I guess, or like question like what the old Nick Fury looked like. Like it, at least to me, even though I knew that he was white before, to me he's always been not just black, but like just Samuel L. Jackson. Even though I've known that he was white before. I don't know. I just thought that was like kind of crazy. That like how much like the MCU, they're really on point with their casting, I feel like, across the board. But that's just somebody who's like not super familiar with like their original iterations. But I feel like whoever they cast like is able to embody these characters really well, and then I don't know. Yeah, besides that. Also, I realized that I have the BGM playing as we watch these videos too. I hope that it like kind of drowns out. Wait, actually, wait. Let me add a filter. And then I think I'm gonna use the bathroom. Sorry, I think that's probably why my mind's been like all over the place. I'm like, I do kind of have to go use the bathroom after this. But let's do. What was that thing? What was the thing? Aria? I remember. How do I do the side chain ducking? Yeah. Output. Oh, maybe I can't. Can I do that? Filters? Audio filter. Oh, maybe because the media type. Audio and video. Okay, well maybe I can't do it. Alright, well I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick. Yeah, bathroom during the movies moment. Maybe, yeah, okay, BRB. What are you guys talking about? What do you mean? What do you mean I'm fermenting in the jar? Okay, alright. What were you talking about again? Okay, all right. Let me just get back to what I had on my notes. I got distracted there for a second. I could probably watch these post-credit scenes all day and be like, oh, I remember that time. Oh, wow. Bonage, welcome. I hope you're having a lovely Sunday so far. Also, Corvo, good morning. Hi, welcome. I broke the bathroom. Speaking of my bathroom being broken, dude, I texted my landlord only like Thursday, Friday. We were supposed to have a plumber come in and fix like our drain on Thursday. Plumber didn't show up. I texted him Friday. Plumber didn't show up. Told the landlord, hey, the plumber never showed up. Yeah, can we get fixed, please? And then I woke up this morning to like a super long text from my landlord, and I didn't read it, not yet. Not yet. But yeah, and schedule a service. I should probably read that, but I shall read that later. What are these images? What images? What images? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, these images. Huh? Is there something wrong with them? Let's see. Where did I leave off? Yeah, counting down the movies to the Avengers, which is kind of crazy to think back on, that it's like, you know, Captain America, especially the first Avenger, like people love that movie. People like, I think that's consistently ranked in like people's top 10s, if not top 5s, right? I did not like it when it first came out because, you know, as a kid, I just wanted to see everybody team up and get together. It's just crazy because it's like it's Captain America's origin story and everybody gets an origin story, but I'm like, fuck that. Let's just get to the Avengers already. Gaslighting moment? What are you talking about? Oh, look at that Logan Roy meme. Yeah, Boomi, what are you saying with the image about the dog licking? What about it? It was cropped off, so I don't remember what the rest of it says. It probably says something like, but when I talk against it, people say, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. Oh, Gaslight, no, it's not. I would never. Me? Gaslighting? Psh, a demon gaslighting humans? Nah. Okay, let's see. Yeah. So my impatience for waiting for the first of like Avengers movie, I was like, yeah, fuck Captain America. Not really, right? I didn't hate him as a character, but I was really soured to his first movie because I was an impatient little brat who wanted to see all the superheroes get together and the most epic team up movie crossover of all time. It's crazy to think that that's like, at the time it seemed like, wow, that's so unheard of, but I feel like it's only just because the movies had different like titles and main characters. Like if you really think about it, it's really just like kind of like the X-Men. We can watch it in any order instead of having 1, 2, 3, 4, however many X-Men movies there are. You can just do it, you know, watch whatever origin story you want. You have 4 prequels? You have Iron Man. Well, I guess you have Iron Man 2 as well. Thor, Captain America, Incredible Hulk. So I guess like 5 movies. But still, The Avengers was basically the sequel to, well, I guess not to Iron Man 2. Either way, it's just kind of funny how they're able to kind of repackage somewhat of an existing concept and then just have that turn into like something that felt like it was never done before. But I feel like it has been done before, right? Wasn't like the first cinematic universe like the Monsters like cinematic universe? Didn't they have that like back in the 60s? I don't know how connected they were, but I remember looking into it. Oh my gosh, Discord. Discord. Where do I have it open? Oh, in the browser. Close. Okay. And then when I was in high school too, my high school, they let us in like an hour early, but I would hang out in the library with my friends, and they had like a Marvel encyclopedia in like the little section that we would sit at. So I would be reading that, I think like the entire school year, you know, I would just go through a couple pages at a time in the morning. They did MCU and animation first. Oh, like the animated movies? I think the cinematic universe started with Mr. Felfour, actually. Yeah, I know absolutely zip about the animated movies. I'm talking strictly like live action. So I feel like animated movies, of course, they would like try that sort of concept because you're really just, I'm assuming, bringing the stories from the comic books to life, right? So I would assume that they have done something like that before. But to do something like that for live action and bringing that to like the general audiences, it feels, I don't know, revolutionary, or at least that's how it felt at the time. Like to me as a kid, it felt like, wow, how come nobody's ever thought of this before? Instead of making a sequel, like, you know, movie 1, 2, 3, and 4, why not just have different characters and then have them all converge into a sequel? I don't know. To me, that blew my mind. It died with the next Avengers. Is this where the MCU dies too? It's funny how DC has a better track record of animated movies than Marvel, right? And I feel like that's really helped with like their cartoons too. The DC animations. I really like the Harley Quinn cartoon. I haven't seen like the new episodes, but I think the first 2 seasons I watched and I really enjoyed it. My favorite character is Clayface. Lady Gaga. This is the way he says things. It's really funny. Yeah, they did have really good cartoons. I really do enjoy. I haven't seen Creature Commandos yet though, which I know is like really good. He's behind music. Yeah, Marvel has a better track record with their live action, and then DC seems to be having a better track record for their animated movies. But I mean, let's have them all be good. I hope to see, I don't know, I feel like Marvel might have to do a little bit of work with how their production is. I feel like they might be like, you know, like so big. I talk about it later. Here, let me lead into it. Let's see. Where did I put it? Let's talk DC a little bit. Let's talk DC just a little bit. While we're talking good movies, and then we could like talk about the issues of Marvel's fall off, because I feel like we all have something to say about that. Okay, so The Dark Knight came out. I don't really remember like going to go watch that in the movie theaters, but I do remember like after watching it, I thought that it was actually no. The first one was what was it called? I don't know what any of these movies are called. Was it The Dark Knight Rises? No, it's just called The Dark Knight. And then you have the No, it's wait, is it Batman Begins? Oh, it is Batman Begins. I don't remember this one that much at all. I remember watching The Dark Knight. I do remember watching Batman Begins, and then I remember seeing Scarecrow, Cillian Murphy. And I mean, I don't really remember much of like the Scarecrow, but I do remember seeing Cillian Murphy as like a Megane, and I was like, wow, Megane, cool. Or something like that. That's all that I remember for Batman Begins. Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. It's really interesting that they call it the Dark Knight trilogy when that's actually the second movie. But I think, didn't they say that, do I remember anything about this movie? I just remember glasses and he had like the gas that makes you see scary stuff. That's it. I think that's it. I know, right? What a weird thing to remember. I didn't even realize that Cillian Murphy was in this movie. Yeah, I hardly remember this one. If you were to ask me what happens besides like Scarecrow making people scared, which is like that's what he does, couldn't tell you. I don't think I could tell you. I do remember thinking that it was like a good movie. But of course, like when The Dark Knight came out, that one was the peak, right? Was that the movie that put everybody on, or was like everybody like already into Batman Begins, like, oh, I can't wait for the sequel? For me, it was Batman Begins and The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. I remember when Batman began and beginning all over the place. I mean, I guess it has to show its origin story, right? Wait, if I read the synopsis, will it ring any bells? Let's see. A young Bruce Wayne travels to the Far East where he is trained in the martial arts by Henry Ducard, a member of the mysterious League of Shadows. When Ducard reveals the League's true purpose, the complete destruction of Gotham City, really? The League of he's trained by the guy who wants to destroy his hometown? It sounds a little, I don't know, I think Ducard should have thought that through a little bit more. He's like, oh, did he know Bruce Wayne lived? He's like, oh, you live in Gotham? Well, forget what I just told you and everything that I just taught you. Or is he thinking like, oh, so you hate that shithole too, huh? You understand what I'm talking about, huh? The place needs to be eradicated, all those cockroach villainous criminals running around. Yeah, I'm reading the synopsis. I do not remember this movie at all. Let's see. Wayne returns to Gotham, intent on cleaning up the city without resorting to murder. With the help of Alfred, his loyal butler, and Lucius Fox, a tech expert at Wayne Enterprises, Batman is born. I don't know, Batman. I don't know. He probably needed, if he couldn't like murder somebody, maybe he could have like handed them off to somebody who would like death penalty them or something. Or I mean, I don't know. You know, like those arguments where people like, dude, why won't Batman just kill the Joker? Like, he's killed like 4 of my family members already. He's gonna escape from Arkham. You seen those things? I gotta have to agree. At least when the Avengers come in and save the day, they kill the guy. And then make sure he don't come back. Even if the guy has more story to be told, they still kill him. Cough, cough, Gore the God Butcher. Cough, cough. Was he killed? He was killed, wasn't he? I don't remember that movie either. Portrayal of Scarecrow in Arkham Knight. Oh, my dad played the Arkham series a lot too. He said it was really fun. A really fun Batman game. Alright, let's see, because I know we're itching to talk about the modern movies. Let's see. So yeah, when the Dark Knight trilogy came out, I really liked those movies, but I did feel like a little disappointed that it was gonna end after the Dark Knight Rises, because I felt like, you know, they had a good thing going. I liked that their tone was a lot, you know, like more serious, I guess, and like a lot more grounded than the MCU, which felt more lighthearted. It felt like more of like a superhero show, whereas like the Dark Knight was more of like, okay, well, what if like superheroes actually lived with, you know, like let's see more of how that affects the everyday person, I don't know, but like it just felt more grounded, you know. And I think that's what made it feel a little bit more not just refreshing, but like fearful. Like it sticks to you a little harder because you're kind of putting yourself into the position of the average disgruntled citizen instead of the citizen who's just happy that the day is saved. And I was also really excited to see Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character get developed more, because weren't they saying that he's going to be the next Robin, but you know that never happened. But I think the sentiment was shared that people were like, well, I want to see gritty superhero movies, so they went along with the Man of Steel, right? As much as I wanted to see like more of like the Dark Knight style like superhero stuff, I did not care at all for Man of Steel. I just remember, I don't know what it was about the movie, but I just remember like maybe it was like the color grading. It just didn't capture my attention. Like I thought it was very boring. And so from the get-go, I like the DCEU was like not going to connect with me at all. Because didn't they like model the rest of the tone after Man of Steel? Like I just thought it was so boring. I don't even know what about it. Like I'll be paying attention. Like my attention would be like ebbing and flowing throughout the movie, right? So then I would miss important plot beats, I guess. And you know, I'm just not feeling any attachment to any characters, which is a shame because I think this was genuinely my first introduction to Superman as more than just like a Mickey Mouse type character, you know what I mean? As more than just like a mascot for superheroes. And you know, I know people do enjoy Man of Steel. My dad really likes it. He thinks it's like a really good movie, but it just didn't work for me, unfortunately. It's certainly hard not to agree when the Joker is essentially a domestic terrorist. Yeah, he's pulling out too much shit, man. Somebody needs to kill him. I mean, not to say he needs to be put out his misery, but like he's clearly like unwell and a danger to not just others, but himself. If you can't lock him up forever, I don't know. If he keeps escaping when you're trying to get him help, I don't know. Maybe a little injection. A shame we never got to see Redacted as Redacted when they set it all up. Oh, is that what I was talking about? Mr. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I mean, we could talk spoilers for those movies, but I think like anything that's come out like this year, so I'm guessing like Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four and Superman especially, no spoilers, but I mean Thunderbolts is like whatever, Brave New World, whatever, right? I don't know. Oh yeah, Batman 2022. I want to talk about that next, actually. Actually, wait, let me complain about the DCU first, real quick. I didn't watch any of those movies. Man of Steel soured me from the rest of it, even though I feel like I could like Aquaman. I don't know, but I didn't watch Aquaman. I didn't watch the first Wonder Woman, but my parents did put on Wonder Woman 1984. And to be fair, I was kind of like, oh, I don't want to watch this movie, but I do want to hang out with my parents, so I'm going to sit here and watch it. So maybe I did go in with the wrong mindset, but because my dad was like, oh, the first one was pretty good. Like, I think you'll like this one. I was like, okay, yeah, let's see it. There were moments in the film, like, what was it when they were flying the plane or something? I don't know. But we were, like, laughing out loud how bad it was. Like, I don't think we've ever just sat down and watched a movie and was just like, yeah, that was bad. And actually, you know, like, pointed and laughed at it together like that ever. We usually watch pretty good movies. This one was awful. It was just atrocious. But I mean, pretty people litter the movie, so that was able to pull me through. I was able to keep watching because I just like looking at pretty people on screen. But yeah, I wouldn't watch those movies again. Well, I didn't watch the first Wonder Woman, but the second one, nah. And then but like, she stole some man's body so she could put her lover in there. Is that guy okay? I remember thinking about that the entire time. Like, did he get his body back? I think he does, doesn't he? Either way, that's kind of fucked up. What happened? What happened? Is she allowed to do that? Let's see. I did watch Batman versus Superman, but if you were to hold me at gunpoint and say what happened in that movie, let's see. My vague recollection was Jesse Eisenberg was like, dude, I'm guessing need somebody to kick Superman's ass, so I'm gonna get this Batman guy to kick Superman's ass. And was it like a misunderstanding? I don't know. Why were they kicking each other's ass? I don't know. I only remember, why did you say that name? That's it. That's all that I remember. Why did you say that name? And I thought, wait a second, what a coincidence that both of their moms is named Martha. But then again, I don't know, maybe in like the 1920s or whatever, having Martha as your mother's name was rather common. I heard the extended cut was much better. Oh. You know, I was gonna say what could even be in there, but I'm sure that maybe they could have tied some of the plots together. Because if, like I said, I don't really remember what happened in that movie, but like reaching back and trying to like feel those feelings, it kind of felt like things were just happening, you know, rather than like a story was being unfolded. But all I remember is, why did you say that name? I mean, I guess that's a good example of things happening, right? It didn't really feel like, you know, like these characters were going through something. This kind of felt like not, I don't know, like a coincidence after coincidence, but it's like, what if he didn't say Martha, huh? Why was, I don't know. Maybe I just don't remember this movie enough to give solid thoughts on it. I didn't like it, that's all. I thought it was boring. I think it might be like I don't know, just like none of the DCU movies, like they never felt like interesting to me. But besides the first Aquaman one, I remember like seeing the trailer for that and thinking like, oh, I could go watch that one. But like the other ones, when I watch a movie, I like to be, you know, immersed into another world. And I feel like with the MCU, probably because they did, you know, so much groundwork in the first like couple of years, that you can be like, okay, I'm gonna go to the MCU world where superheroes save the day and we don't care that our buildings are getting destroyed. I think when I'm thinking of like the DCU, what kind of world am I being transported into, and is it one that I want to stay in? I think that's probably what's turned me off from the movie, I think. Tell me, do you bleed? It just kind of feels like they're clip farming the whole movie, like aura maxing the whole movie. But it does, I mean, I think that it's like a product of its time too, though, you know, because it's like the MCU was very quippy, and it was at a time when that really like resonated with people enjoyed like that quippiness, but maybe not so much anymore. But like, you know, I think that you had people who wanted something different, something grittier, but I feel like they might have like leaned into that too hard, where at least to me, like if I'm thinking of like DCU, I'm thinking like serious, maybe like plots that I don't really remember, and just like really washed out colors, you know? It's not very like inviting to be like, hey, come spend the next like 2 hours in my world, and we have like 5 other movies you could come spend in our world. I'm like, I don't know, dude. Let's see, Justice League. I did see the Justice League. I think I saw the Snyder cut, because my dad told us, hey Boomi, come up downstairs, we got a movie that we're gonna play, and I think it was the Snyder cut. Could not tell you what happened in that movie either. It could be because that I was, you know, going into the movie thinking like, I don't want to watch this, and you know, when you do that, you're not gonna have a good time. But I mean, there's like some aspects, like some of the character like banter I thought was fun, but maybe there's just like, it's not charming. I didn't feel like any charm in the movies. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. I didn't feel like any charm in the movies. They just kind of felt like, you know, like gritty for the sake of being gritty, whereas like the Dark Knight I felt like was gritty and grounded for like the sake of you know, exploring a world and like a character for that purpose, for like, you know, what happens like when you tell a superhero story from this perspective. Whereas like with the quote-unquote Snyderverse, from as little as I know about it, just doesn't really feel charming. I don't know, I'm trying to work out my thoughts in real time if you couldn't tell. Sadly, things seem to be happening is the problem with wait, okay, sorry, I was clicking on the chat. Problem with Zack Snyder, phenomenal director with great visual flair, but dear God, never let him hold a pen. I was watching like a clip earlier today where they're like, Zack Snyder needs to do more animated movies, and it was like that one movie about the owls, and it had like this insane shot. There were, I think that's, yeah, his movies are really good for like I said, aura farming and maybe like clip farming and stuff. Like if you want to make a really sick Superman or like Batman edits, yeah, go pull some stuff from his movies, right? Because he does have a good eye, I think. Like some of the stuff, actually, what am I saying? I'm trying to pull examples out of my head, but all I can think of is just like, yeah, I remember looking at shots and thinking that looks cool. Like when I think about the movie, what I'm thinking about most is just like scenes and like how it looked, right? Why did you say that name? I could remember exactly how that looked. When I don't remember what's happening in the Justice League, but I remember like when they were all like standing around, I can remember like how those pieces looked and stuff. But yeah, like we said, things seem to be happening. With that, I was gonna say something with that. I was gonna build off of that, but I don't remember, so I'm just gonna move on. I actually wrote down in my notes too that Batman versus Superman, it's funny because I would have never remembered that Jesse Eisenberg was Lex Luthor. I remember that he was in that movie, but if you're to ask me like, oh, what villain did he play? Good question. I don't remember because Flash rewinded. I remember that scene too. I remember like when he was like getting ready to go run back in time or something. I remember shots, and I think that could be, oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That could be why I don't remember like the plot of these movies too well, is because things just sort of happen versus like, you know, you're taking point A to get you to point B, to point C and point D, right? Like you don't, I don't know how else to word that, but yeah. Okay, alright. And now talking about the Batman 2022. I really did like the Batman 22. I did really like it. The thing that sold me on this movie was the trailer. You guys remember when that trailer dropped? That was like legitimately, to this day, one of the coolest trailers I've ever seen in my entire life. There's only a few trailers that I'm just like, I gotta go back and rewatch. I would say Age of Ultron trailer made me feel like that when it first came out, and the Batman trailer, I was going back to that one. And then what was it? The Rise of the, what was it? What's the first Star Wars movie of the sequel? Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker? No, The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens. That one, I also really like that trailer too. Shame about the movies. The Force Awakens and the Batman and Age of Ultron are like the three trailers that when I saw it, I was like, whoa, that's so cool. And specifically, like in the shot, you know, when the Penguin is like trying to get out his car. It was the Penguin, right? And like they have that upside down shot of Batman walking through. Actually, let's just watch it. Let's just watch it. Let me get that scene specifically. The Batman trailer. And like it like goes into the logo. Oh my god, dude, that's so good. That's so good. Okay, no. Right here. Oh, with the music too? You gotta be kidding me, man. This movie was so good.
I got you! I got you!
Oh, that's so good. That's so good, dude. This is... I'm getting hype right now. That's so peak. Why did that get me hyped up right now, too? That's... That is a good trailer. That is good shit, man. Yeah, that shot is incredible. Like, just to see not just that unfolding, but like just, I don't know, you really, I love shots that really like immerse you into that perspective. Like, you really feel like the fear. You're trapped. I like that it's like, you know, really like you feel trapped. It's condensed. You only have that small window to see the Batman out of. And even then, he's so small because he's so far away walking towards you with the fire and the cape. And you're just thinking like, dude, he's gonna fuck me up. He's not even running over here because he knows I can't get out the car. I'm witnessing peak right now. I'm frozen in movement. And then just to have that fade into the logo. It's too good. It's too I love that trailer. Anyways, yeah, this movie was really fun, clearly. I didn't like it the first time that I watched it. I mean, no, I didn't. It's not that I didn't like the movie, but like this part specifically, the entire time Batman's being a complete horn dog for Catwoman. Did anybody else notice that? But I think it's really fun. I guess like characterization, I don't know, like when you put into perspective, like, oh right, he is in the beginning of his career journey. He's gaining the experience, honing his skill, building up his LinkedIn profile as a superhero. And like I guess it makes sense that he's gonna be susceptible to like beautiful, seductive women charming him. Like, I remember that scene where he was spying on her because what was it, he like didn't trust her or something. I don't know, he went to go spy on her and she was like changing or something in her room, and I'm like, dude, like, are you gonna look away or not? Like, you're just gonna keep looking. But of course he's not gonna look away because he's like, oh well, this is my target, but then also I don't know, like, she do be kind of hot, so I'm gonna keep looking. I don't know, but I think it's a little subtle, but seeing, I don't know if he like is wrestling with that, but that's how I interpreted it, right? Like, he's kind of wrestling a little bit with like, hot lady seems to like me, but she's also like, you know, I gotta rein it in because I got a job to do, right? Catwoman was so hot in the movie, dude. I was just like, I want to model my entire personality after her. This is gonna be my new skin suit. He's so lucky Poison Ivy isn't in this universe. That should be the cinematic universe. That should be like the Batman universe where he's just like sure, he'll have like his man villains, but like the ones that really like strike him to his core is like all the hot like female super villains. Just him learning to like build up that resistance. Like, okay, I gotta stop being horny. I gotta do my job. Because it's like in The Dark Knight, I mean, it's been a while since I watched those movies, but like I don't really remember feeling like that much, like a huge amount of sexual tension. Like, he seemed like he had it together, right? This Batman, I'm like, dude, don't fold. Don't fold. Oh, the first cat. Oh, we did have those movies. I did have the Catwoman movies growing up, and then we also watched those Daredevil movies, and I had the Elektra movies too. And I thought Elektra was such a badass. I wanted to be her. The Catwoman could have better. Wait, I don't remember what her mask like. The Batman 2022. Catwoman. I really did like Anne Hathaway's mask though. Oh yeah, Yeah, she could have had a better mask. Wait, let me pull it up. This is just cloth, dude. It's just cloth on her face. I mean, she got a burglar mask, and it does feel really like DIY, but she wasn't like too much of a DIY girl, was she? It's been a while since I last rewatched these movies, but like, I mean, she has a really cool suit, and her dad was powerful. Her dad, the penguin? No, was it? I don't remember. How could I forget? But yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe there's a little bit of a mismatch. Her suit's like really cool. Maybe if her suit felt a little bit more DIY. But I do kind of like the idea that she was just like, you know what? Let me get a burglar mask and let me cut it into this cat shape. And then she like wants to make the eyes really big because she knows that she's hot. She wants to like hide her face but like also show it because she knows she look good. Who can blame her? This is the kind of story that I'm getting from her mask. I did like Anne Hathaway's like little Catwoman suit though, like these or at least the mask. I thought that it was really cool that the goggles could lift up into little cat ears. It makes it a lot less like, I don't know, like intentional feeling, if that makes sense. She's kind of like, oh, it kind of looks like a cat. I guess I'll be a cat. Versus like with this one, she's like, no, I think I'm gonna be a cat. Does that make sense? The people in manga who use the face mask only covering their nose. She's like, it's also like a reverse Incredibles mask. You know what I mean? Oh, this is a drawing. I thought this was a picture. That's really good. I mean, to be honest, if I look like that too, if I had that sort of like seductive power, I would not. I don't even think I would wear a mask. I'd be like, I don't care. You can know who I am. But are you gonna be able to escape my web though, my Madam Web? You're gonna be able to escape me? Just look at the way that she's looking at him too. The eye contact. Okay. Are you saying she isn't seductive, SMH? What are you saying? What are you saying? Let's see. Yeah, this movie was really fun. I think I'm due for a rewatch considering how little that I'm like remembering right now. I also still need to watch The Penguin. I heard nothing but good things about The Penguin. So I think maybe what I'm gonna do, maybe I'll watch The Batman and then go into The Penguin right after. I think that might be fun. Since I'm due for a rewatch for both. But anyways, yeah, to tie up my little DC section, I hope that DC characters go more mainstream, because I feel like with like, you know, MCU characters, they're like putting a lot of their heroes into the light, and like not just like the main ones, but like, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy, the fact that like some niche like superhero group can have somebody like Groot, like a talking tree, and like I don't know how popular Rocket Raccoon was before, but like Groot can be a, like my mom loves Groot. My mom has like a toy Groot in her room, right? The fact that it can be like that. I hope to see more stuff like that for DC superheroes, because I really do like in the Harley Quinn TV show, how they have the like more niche villains like Kite Man and stuff. And Kite Man, I'm rewatching Peacemaker right now, and Kite Man got to mention it. I think Peacemaker killed Kite Man, actually. I think he might have killed Kite Man. I think Kite Man is dead. But the fact that they have characters like that, you know, I like hearing about these more niche characters, like the Midwest Avengers, like Doorman and Big Bertha. I think that's really fun too. And I know people are like, ooh, ew, She-Hulk, but I think She-Hulk is the perfect place to explore those sort of lesser characters. I hope that they do less of like the linear storytelling, which if they have to do that for season 1 just to like get her origin out the way, sure, cool, that's fine with me. But I hope that seasons going forward could just be like a client of the week, or like, you know, have small client arcs so we could see a little bit more of these characters that we don't necessarily want to see in the mainstream. And I want to see stuff like that for DC too. Like how, I mean, I think Peacemaker is a good way for doing that one. And then they also had Creature Commandos too. Yeah. The Guardians are pretty obscure until the first movie came out. That's so crazy. And the fact they're like a household name. They're literally like my favorite not characters. I don't think they're like my favorite characters from the MCU, but they're definitely like my favorite like group and like trilogy of movies. And to be honest, I think that they're, in my opinion, the best movies out of the entire MCU. I think that they're very like cohesive. They have a lot of charm. They immerse me into like an outer space world, which is like one of the top things that I'm looking for in a movie. To be able to forget about the outside world. I'll talk more about Guardians in a second, but yeah, I want to see like more DC characters go mainstream, because like before, DC felt like the cultural mainstream superheroes. Like when you think superheroes, you think Superman, Batman, Justice League, and then you would think of like Marvel characters like Spider-Man and, I don't know, Fantastic Four, maybe Wolverine, because of the movies that came out at the time. But I feel like before, like, you know, DC movies were, or DC superheroes like were the superheroes. But now with the MCU being hugely popular, like Iron Man and the Hulk and other MCU heroes ascend to like, oh, name a superhero. Oh, I'm gonna name like Iron Man and like Black Panther and stuff. I want to see like some of that, like I don't know, just bringing more characters from DC to the cultural mainstream, so that way I can enjoy it. I want to see more characters. I want to see more characters outside the Justice League. I love Peacemaker. I think that's probably like one of my favorite superhero shows, period. It might be the most favorite superhero show, period, for me. But yeah. To be honest, with like Superman and Fantastic Four coming out and getting pretty solid reviews, I'm really just happy to see superhero movies like being loved again, even if like the most people are tired of the whole genre and stuff. I think James Gunn said it, but someone said people don't have superhero fatigue, they have bad movie fatigue. And to talk about the MCU and the things that they're doing wrong, I think the MCU is just like so broad now. You know, they are a global franchise, so they aren't willing to take as many risks, or at least they weren't. I feel like now maybe they might be a little bit more open to it, but I feel like you could really feel that they were not just trying to scale too big too fast, because they thought, oh, it's post Endgame, everybody is like eating up our movies and stuff. But there just wasn't like a whole lot of it felt like things were happening, you know. I mean, I think like each story itself felt pretty like contained and like somewhat satisfying, well, save for a few. But I don't know, but like when you're thinking of like the MCU like phase 5 story as a whole, what happened? Characters got introduced, that was about it. And at least with like phase 1, right, characters got introduced, but their introduction led into something happening for the next character. Now it just kind of feels like we have, oh, this character is popping up, but like when are we gonna see them again? How are they gonna contribute to like the broader story? It feels like that Disney executives are kind of holding their breath on that. They're just like making a lot of characters, and they're gonna be like, okay, who's popular and how can we like maximize profit? I don't know, you know, it just kind of, it feels like a lot more business driven than it did before. And it makes sense with like how big and popular the MCU is, but I think that they should also not sacrifice taking risks, or even just like planning up something, even if they think that the audience might not receive it well. I don't know if that's what I'm trying to say. It's like I think that they should come up with what they want to do first, make a plan, and not like tweak and change it based on what literally everybody across the planet thinks. And I think that's like the issue with these movies, is that they're trying to like tweak and change it to appeal to like the broadest audience possible, and it's just not, they're sucking out all the fun from the movies. I think that's what makes The Guardians so fun for me, is that, you know, they have a story that they want to tell and they tell it well. The other character stories just kind of feel like, oh, we're going to tell an origin story, but it's like, you can only do so much to tell an origin story that's really unique in a way that's so formulaic. I don't know. Let's see. Crazy how Peacemaker makes me feel bad for him. Wait. Same with Harley Quinn and they kill people. Right? Right? I think one thing that DCU... Wait. DCU has a huge advantage, in my opinion, because I feel like James Gunn does a really good job at telling stories of ensemble characters and making the viewer feel like really attached to them and like sympathetic towards them, which I think is like, if you don't have that emotional draw in a movie, or I guess like with any like, especially a superhero medium, right? Because the superhero medium is the character. You're thinking like, why should I care about this character? You're not telling just one story about like one character, I guess, but like you want people to be invested in that character, so they're not just tuning in for like this one story, for like this one movie. Like for Superman, for example, I'm not just tuning in to see how Superman comes to be, or like this early Superman, right? I'm coming in to learn about this character, get invested in him, and want to see where he's going next. And I think that's what like Marvel has not really been doing too well, where you're kind of thinking like, and even if you do want to see where the character is going next, when they do happen to do that well, you don't know when you're gonna see them next. Or if you do know, it's gonna be like another like 2, 3, 4 years, right? There's not really like a lot of things to keep you invested into it. I feel like with Guardians though, because they were able to just be off in space and be like amongst themselves, you're not waiting for like sure, you're waiting for like Guardians to appear in Infinity War and stuff too, but like you're also kind of waiting for, at least for me, I was like excited to see where they go after Infinity War, how their relationships develop after the events of Infinity War. It's not just like for me, seeing them in Infinity War wasn't to see them have their character arcs wrapped up, I guess Infinity War and Endgame, but like, you know, I wasn't there to see their character arcs get wrapped up. I wanted to see them also like interact with like the main characters of the other franchises and stuff. And then when we get back to like the Guardians movies, I want to see their character arcs expand. I don't know if I'm explaining myself right. Fun fact, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and 3 came out the same day, 6 years apart. Oh, that is a fun fact. That is a really fun fact. Let's see. I put a song from Peacemaker on my iPod. Oh my gosh, that's another good thing about James Gunn. He really like introduces you to some really good dad rock. Do you really wanna taste that? Yeah, they are slowing down movie production for the MCU, which I think is the smart move. I think releasing Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four and leaving it at that for the year is good. I think that the changes that they're making now seems to be the changes in the right direction. I like that they split up Marvel Television, Marvel Studios, and Marvel Animation. I think as much as they want things to be... I feel like before, the TV shows kind of felt like you know, for WandaVision, you gotta watch WandaVision if you wanna like enjoy Doctor Strange. But then if you watch Doctor Strange, they also do like a lot of catch up. I mean, I guess I don't know. Maybe not Doctor Strange is a good example, but like Brave New World, for example, right? I felt like even though the story explored in Brave New World was like different than what was explored in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I still felt like the themes were the same. So Sam Wilson was going through like similar challenges again. And I think that just sort of like made the movie boring, and also made both like the TV show and the movie like not, I guess, like kind of not unnecessary viewing, but it sort of retreads familiar territory. You know what I mean? Wait, let me drink some water. Oops. Disney was forcing them to make more and more stuff. Yes, exactly. And I feel like you could feel that across the board. You would hear stuff about like the pain points with like the effects teams and stuff, having to rush just to complete projects, and then people are getting fatigued because there's so many Marvel things coming out. I don't know. I think, and I hope that they learned their lesson, because I've always said, even when they were like oversaturating their small market, I've always said like the MCU is way too profitable for them to not go back to the drawing board and try and like, you know, redo things, or like revisit their approach, so that way they can, you know, actually get on people's good side again. And I was seeing some Twitter headlines, not an article, but about how Fantastic Four had like a very steep drop from their opening weekend, and people were analyzing it and saying that it's really just the hardcore fans that are coming to go watch it in the movie theater, and then everybody else, the general public, is either ignoring the movies completely or waiting for it to come out on streaming. And then even if it does come out on streaming, they might not watch it the day of. And even though the Thunderbolts did really well, okay, to talk about the Thunderbolts, I did like the Thunderbolts as a movie. It definitely felt like an old, like you get the same feeling of like watching an old Marvel movie, like a solid old Marvel movie, not like Phase like 1, but like, I don't know, maybe like 2 or something. Like, it was a good movie. But I do think Fantastic Four, at least for me, was a stronger movie, because I like to see myself get transported into another world. I think they did a really good job with like the world building and like the set design. If you're looking in the background, like they have like these little weird like retro futuristic cars and stuff. I like to see that kind of stuff in the movie, so maybe that's why I enjoyed Fantastic Four more. But yeah. I forgot where I was going with that, so I'm just gonna read the comments. Yeah, reminder, no spoiler for the recent movies. I think, I would say especially nothing for Superman or Fantastic Four. Brave New World and the Thunderbolts. I mean, I don't even know like what there would be to spoil in that movie either, to be honest. But you can tell, like, when the studio feels like confident in the project, because if you compare like the Brave New World promotion to like the Thunderbolts promotion, or even like Fantastic Four promotion, practically non-existent. And I think that sort of helped me set my expectations for the movie too. And the sad part about Brave New World is that I thought it feels like they have a lot of good pieces, but they really just don't make you feel for the movie, you know? Wait, I wonder if I wrote this down somewhere. I wonder if I like wrote down my movie review for this somewhere. I don't know if I did. But I did have quite a few thoughts for the movie. I think it kind of suffered from a similar thing from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because of the pandemic, they had to like cut back on their global pandemic plot line. I don't know if it would have saved the show, but I would have like at least appreciated seeing something like that. They don't have to censor it just because the whole world is going through something similar coincidentally, you know. I feel like that really shot themselves in the foot by doing that. For me, wait, I'm just trying to remember stuff that happened in the movie. Oh yeah, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier too. It kind of felt like, it just felt very manufactured as well. The trailer was a lot cooler than the actual movie, and when you're looking at the trailer and you're like, oh, I hope we're getting like something like that's the Winter Soldier-esque. There's elements of that in there, and I don't know, it just doesn't land. And I feel really bad because I feel like a lot of the actors gave really strong performances. And, you know, like when you're seeing Harrison Ford talk about the movie, he seemed like he had a lot of fun on set too. And I know that the movie performed terribly. I hope that they get a chance to, you know, not revisit the concept or like the characters, but at least like get the crew back together and do something new and different, but just do it better this time. I feel like they had like all the right bones and stuff, but the seasoning just wasn't quite right. They wanted it to be a return to Winter Soldier, but failed. They failed immensely. When watching that movie, I did not get like any sort of like, you know, spy thriller vibes. And I feel like you're supposed to get something similar from Secret Invasion too, but they lean... Like, I know that they want things to feel cohesive in a cinematic universe. Let me turn the mic towards me a little bit more. And I'm totally cool with that. But I want them, when they're ready to like try a different flavor of you know, this thing that they're doing, I want them to like actually try a new flavor instead of just like half-assing it, you know? And I feel like that's what Winter Soldier did. I feel like that's what probably like Thor Ragnarok or like Guardians did. Sure, the Marvel DNA was still in there. The MCU DNA was still woven in there. And, you know, they're all... You can feel that they're all under the same umbrella, but like they don't have to be feeling the same across the board, especially when it detracts from you know, the story that they're trying to tell. And I feel like they're trying to like sell me on the chemistry between Falcon, well, the new Falcon and the new Captain America. And it was there, but there was a very small scene. I'm just gonna spoil it. Because it's like 30 seconds. There's a small scene where Bucky shows up in the movie, and it's only for like barely a minute, maybe. I don't know. It's just like really small, like a small cameo. And you hear that he's like running for Congress or whatever. And during that scene, I was just like, wow, like they have good chemistry, but like I don't really feel that like connection between Sam and, I'm gonna call him Manny, but Manny is the guy that he plays in The Last of Us. I'm just gonna, what's his name? Maybe just call him Manny. Let's see, new Falcon MCU. Sam Wilson. Who's the new guy? Torres. What? Joaquin Torres. Okay, dude. Wait, there's this crazy line. If you go, okay, I looked up on Google. When Sam Wilson became Captain America, Torres became the new Falcon. He also became half vampire, making him a human vampire hybrid. When did that happen? When did that? I don't remember that happening. I got whiplash reading that sentence. Anyways, Torres. Like, they had chemistry there, but I feel like the writing made them seem a lot more buddy-buddy than what was actually felt on screen. You know what I mean? I gotta stop clicking on the comments because it makes a pop-up come up that I can't click out of. Let's see. Bucky should have been the new Cap. I think I would have been fine with it either way. I think thematically, Bucky does make more sense as a Captain America, but I feel like if they want to try and tell new stories, I think it's interesting to see Bucky take a leadership role in the Thunderbolts. You know, trying to, redeem, I guess, characters feeling... He's acting as a mentor, right? And I think in a way that kind of shadows Captain America too. Like Captain America doing the let's see, what was it, like the Snap Survivors Guilt thing in Endgame. But Bucky, he is using his experience to help people who have done bad things in the past but want to be better, actually become better and, you know, work to redeem themselves. I think that's a lot more of an interesting story to tell with Bucky, and then having Captain America, Sam Wilson Captain America, navigate taking on a role that A, he's reluctant to, and B, has a history that he might not like necessarily agree with, or like have like a like a prestige that he might not necessarily feel that he deserves. I think that tells a more interesting story than seeing it, like, I guess, another way around. Because it's like, if you put Bucky as Captain America, sure, he could have like a similar, like, oh, I need to learn how to be a leader story arc, but I think it's more fun to see him try to be a leader with people who were in the same place, or maybe still might be in the same place as him, like mentally and emotionally, from when, you know, reconciling with the things that he's done when he wasn't necessarily in control of it. And I think with Sentry, or I guess like the Sentry is like the good version, right? And the Shadow guy, right? Before, you didn't really have Bob's like, oh shit, I did that, like I did I do that? Bob's like horrors might come from that day when he like disappeared all those people, right? Yeah, I think that's yeah. Let's see. Thunderbolts had a pretty low budget. I think that's pretty good. I don't think that they have to do like a whole bunch of like high budget stuff. And I think I could see where Thunderbolts had a low budget or a lower budget was because I don't recall it being like a whole lot of CGI, you know? And I think what made the Marvel budgets go higher and higher was that a lot of their more recent movies have been off planet and have been like really ambitious in the story that they want to tell. I think people are tired of that. Like, we don't need any more of that after Endgame. You don't have to keep like one-upping yourself with like the story that you're trying to tell. Cough cough, multiverse. Just bring a different bad guy in. Even if he's a smaller bad guy, I'm cool with that. Just tell me a good story. That's what I want to hear. Alright, sorry, I was catching up with chat. Let me roll down. I'm surprised they take that out. It would seem topical. The pandemic and stuff. Yeah, I think they were worried that it might like seem like, I don't know, too triggering or something. Because like Falcon and the Winter Soldier came out like what? February 2021 was it? Or was it like March 2020? I don't know. But it came out like right when things were starting to develop. Wait, let me take a look. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. March 19th, 2021. So that's like what, a year? I think we could have handled it as a general public. I think we could have. They didn't need to cut all that stuff out. I think we could have handled it. Storsky, welcome. I hope you're having a lovely day too. I like to see the original cut for Brave New World for real and see if it's any better. Yeah, didn't they like cut a bit out of that movie? I do think that like the ending, at least to me, felt a little bit weak. I don't know. I can't really remember too much about that movie right now. All I remember is Red Hulk destroying Washington, D.C. And I do remember also thinking, like, when are we gonna see Red Hulk? When are we gonna see him? But we don't really see him until the end. I don't know. It just felt very, like, formulaic, you know? If they wanted to be like, hey, we're gonna give Brave New World another shot, just make sure you're seated when we come back and do it, I don't think I'd be mad. I'd be like, alright, yeah, give it another try. I will pretend to forget about this last one. But I would rather see them do that with Love and Thunder, with Thor Love and Thunder, than Brave New World. I think Brave New World was fine. I wouldn't go see it in the theater, but you know, if you are on an airplane, I think it's a good airplane movie, right? You could be entertained for like however long it is. Thor Love and Thunder though, I wouldn't even watch that on an airplane. I don't even remember what I like disliked about it so much. I don't know if it's because I had expectations for the movie and it just didn't live up to it or what, but yeah. Let's see. Dude, I keep clicking on the chat. I like to highlight things when I read it. Boomy, a bit off topic, but have you seen the new Twisted Metal TV show? I'm bringing it up because it's the... I have not. I don't even think I'm quite familiar with what the Twisted Metal franchise is. Same writers who did Deadpool and Zombieland. I heard Zombieland was a really fun movie. Is that the one... Isn't Jesse Eisenberg in that movie too? Where they're like at the theme park and they gotta fight zombies or something? I'll be honest, out of like monsters, like if you're thinking like zombies and like vampires and witches, right? Out of those like classic Halloween monsters, zombies are the most unsettling for me. I dislike zombies so much. Not that I wouldn't watch anything with a zombie in it, but I don't know. I find, especially if they like really lean into like that psychological aspect of zombiehood, like The Last of Us does, I can't do it. Were they still a person in there? The Last of Us says yes. I hate that. I hate that. There's something about like losing one's humanity that I don't know. It just really like shakes me to my core. Speaking of shaking me to my core, well, first and foremost, welcome, Papa. Welcome. Hope you're having a good day and a good stream. Yes, I am. I'm actually getting kind of hungry. Maybe I'll let's see it. I was like, maybe I'll wrap up my thoughts soon, but it's okay. We'll keep yapping. I have time. I feel like my thoughts have been all over the place, even though I took like all these notes and stuff. Theme Park is the first Zombieland, and Double Tap was a solid sequel. Oh, where did they go? So Jesse Eisenberg is in those movies, right? When I was watching like the clip of Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, I feel bad because he said I think that like held him back in his career or something. I really like Jesse Eisenberg as like an actor, even as a person. I feel like he's really relatable. I don't know if you guys have seen A Real Pain. I watched that on the airplane on my way to Japan. It was a really good movie. It flew by. It really flew by, but it's not too long of a movie. But it stars Jesse Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin as cousins, and I don't know. I felt it was like Jesse Eisenberg. I was like, that is so me. That's so me right now. He's just like an anxious mess, always thinking about other people. And when I watch his interviews, that seems to be like just who he is, right? So why would they cast him as Lex Luthor is my question. It feels like you're setting him up for failure. To be fair, I don't know anything about Lex Luthor. Let's talk Superman. Let's just go straight into it. Let's talk Superman, right? I'm gonna read off my notes. This is exactly what I wrote down when I left the movie theater, but because I wanted to record something after I left, but I do like to let my thoughts marinate. So that's why I was like, let me just save this all for after Fantastic Four, and we'll talk about superheroes as a whole. Yeah, okay, anyways. So I was fresh out the movie. I saw it in IMAX. So worth it. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Wait. I almost forgot. Out the movies, because I went to the fan event. So at the fan event, here, maybe I can lift this up a little bit. At the fan event, they had these comics that came with your movie ticket. I got the last one. I actually got there like just in time. The trailers like just ended actually. And the movie was just getting started. I got there just in time, and I got seated right at the beginning, but I missed the opening context. Like, you know how did it start off? I think it said like 300 years ago, like the first metahumans were recorded on Earth, and then 30 years ago, like Superman was like sent over. 3 hours ago, like the Hammer of Bavaria like was fighting him, and then like 3 minutes ago, like Superman just suffered his first L, something like that, right? I missed all of that because I was like busy trying to turn off my phone. And at the time, I was just kind of like, oh, I sure hope that wasn't like important context that I missed. But you know, I think I was able to understand the gist of it pretty well. But yeah, I went to the AMC like fan event screening, which I think they just say like, oh, you get to watch like an extra, like you get to watch it early. And you know how movies, they technically come out on Friday, but you could watch them as early as like Thursday evening. This one, usually I think like the earliest show times are like 7 or 8 o'clock. I watched at 6 o'clock, so it was like barely anything special. But we did get like this neat comic book, and I got the last one. I haven't read it yet. I remember as a kid I did want to grow up reading comics, but I think I don't know. I found them like really wordy compared to manga. I'm more used to reading manga, but I think the art in here is really fun and pretty. But yeah, this is like the companion comic book to the movie, I think. I don't know if it's like special or anything, like specially related to the movie. Bro, look at his hands, dude. They're massive. He's massive. Look at the size of this guy. What is this? This one is All-Star Superman. So I believe I remember reading online that people said that the Superman 2025 is kind of like taking inspiration from All-Star Superman. I don't know, but I'm just regurgitating what other people say because I don't know enough about this to tell you myself. What did we do to earn the hands today? Everything. Like my nail polish. I got a gel nail this time instead of dip because after this I was like, I think I'm gonna be done. But I don't know, this is so subtle and cute. Like it's very like opaque, right? Transparent. And it has glitter. You can't tell too well, huh? But I don't know, I thought it was like really cute. Anyways. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so the background. And follow Superman fresh out of his first loss. Superman, not something I was hugely familiar with. Like I said, my family was more Team Marvel growing up. So I went into this movie with absolutely zero expectations. I knew that I loved the Dark Knight trilogy and that I wasn't like super into the Snyderverse. I wrote down here that I've seen Man of Steel like 3 or 4 times. I think it's closer to like, I think I've seen it 3 times, which is crazy. I've seen it like 3 times, but it never stuck with me. So this Superman movie was just, Superman as a whole. Superman as a whole was just something I was vaguely familiar with. Like, I know his origin story, but like I said, I couldn't tell you what Lex Luthor's personality is besides he's bald. I wouldn't even be able to tell you like any Easter eggs or like cameos. Like that would have gone over my head. So it was like really fun to just go into that movie screening, especially as a fan event. Everybody was like wearing their Superman t-shirts and like any kind of Superman merch that they could find. And I don't know, it just felt really wholesome that even though this wasn't like something that I had a huge nostalgic attachment to, that I was there being able to enjoy it with other people who have like this massive love for Superman. Especially like at the end of the movie where everybody's just like smiling and you know, they felt really satisfied and fulfilled by I guess the movie as a whole. And you probably seen a lot of people talking about it, how hopeful this film is compared to the Snyderverse films. But yeah, let me talk about it a little bit. The story, it's not an origin story. You're just kind of thrown right into a already living world. Even though this is kind of like the launch of the DC universe, they're not really like, you know, being like, oh, this is what the world is like, right? You are just sat here. People described it as like picking up a comic book and then you like read and you see all the characters and you're like, oh, okay, I guess I'll learn about this like the more. Dude, this is so cool. Where you're like, oh, I guess I will like learn about it the more that I read through the comics, right? And I think I don't have that kind of experience myself reading the comic books, but I think like if that's how people feel when they pick up a comic book and you're learning like, oh, okay, I see Lex Luthor is like Superman's villain. It's like watching a Saturday morning cartoon. That's what it's like, you know? Like you're watching Chowder, right? And you're like, oh, okay, so Chowder, he works as Mungdol's apprentice, as a chef, and like what's Schnitzel doing there? Oh, okay, I see Mungdol is a ladies' man, but he has a wife, he's married to Truffles, right? You're kind of like picking up on things as you're watching. And I guess like as more movies come out, we'll get to feel things a little bit more, right? Get a feel of things a little bit more. Let's see. I really like this aspect. I know that it didn't work for a lot of people, especially like during like the first like few reviews. Because I wrote this like when it first when you know, the night that it first dropped, right? So I think a lot of people have sort of changed their whistle a little bit because the public reception has been really good. Let's see. So I kind of felt like a contrarian when I wrote this down, that I really liked where they picked it up, because a lot of people at the time were saying that it was really bloated. But when you're picking up this movie, Clark and Lois are already together. She is aware of him being Superman. He's already established, essentially, right? He's already an established hero. He has not really like a whole lot of scrutiny against them, besides like from his #1 biggest hater in the world. And I think like, I don't know if they are are they the Justice League? They call themselves something else in the movie, but I wrote down that the Justice League are starting to come together. But like, you know, me coming in, I didn't really feel lost in the movie at all. I did see a lot of people complain that there's too many characters, but for me, I didn't really mind it or felt that it took away from like the pacing at all. I thought that there was enough subtext for you to draw conclusions as you sit there with the movie more, even like upon more rewatches and stuff. I mean, I haven't rewatched the movie, but I assume that you could probably like pick up on like a little bit more dynamics here and there. Let's see. For me personally, I just really like that there were existing heroes and villains, and that you're not like privy to everything that's going on in the world, right? I think that makes it a lot more fun. Like they're trusting you to be able to put the pieces together. Please tell me that they're called the Superfriends, the Justice Society. Did they ever say it in the trailer? It's not a spoiler to say. I'll say it. They call themselves the Justice Gang. This is not a spoiler, right? I don't know like how like you know, some people like would rather not know anything at all. But then again, if you'd rather not know anything at all, don't come to the stream. Maybe save the stream to watch for later. Yeah, they call themselves the Justice Gang in the movie. So I'm sitting there thinking like, oh, are they gonna like evolve into the Justice League, or are they like something else entirely? So, you know, Marvel had the Avengers, and do they have like Revengers? I know they have the Midwest Avengers and the others. Let's see. One thing that I did wish was that we got to see more Clark and Jimmy. I feel like, at least for me, I left the movie and writing this review, I was like, wait, aren't they supposed to be friends? But they didn't really like talk too much in the movie, but I'm looking forward to seeing that happen later on. Either way, honestly, I thought it was a really fun time. Even when the movie slowed down enough for me to think about the runtime, my thought was only like, oh my god, I hope we're not almost done. You know, there's like a few times in the movie where, you know, you're just kind of sitting there, you're kind of leaving the immersion a little bit, and you're like, what time is it? Like, are we like close to the end of the movie? Are we at the climax of the movie? I sure hope not. The fact that my next thought after that was I sure hope not, I think that's a pretty good sign, even if I did get pulled out of it a little bit. Regarding characters, there are a lot of characters, because you do have like staff at the Daily Planet who are mentioned by name, and they have like character designs, and you can like kind of pick up on their quirks, but there's like not a lot of time to explore them all individually. I feel like a lot of the Daily Planet people could have been cut, because they don't really like amplify the story in any way, but I prefer them left in because it does feel like a lived-in world. Like, if you want to see, like, you know, your favorite niche character get screen time, I don't know if you're gonna see that in this movie, but I do like that they establish, like, okay, yeah, these characters are here, they work with Clark, they have, like, you know, their own lives going on in the background, and if you're like not looking for them to be expanded on, I think you're not gonna have the movie feel bloated. Like, just like they had all those posters, you know, promoting those characters, and it does kind of feel like, oh, why did they have a poster? They're barely in the movie. But I don't know, I do think that it's fun for the opportunity for them to like have bigger parts in future movies, you know what I mean? Because I feel like if they were to do like a sequel or something, and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, these guys work with Clark Kent, then it's gonna be awkward. I think it's better for them to have like little screen time in this first movie. Personally. Great Lakes Avengers. Is that the one? Is that the one with Big Bertha, the Great Lakes Avengers? Have I been calling them Midwest Avengers this whole time? Or are they two separate ones? I mean, it would be... I don't know. Anyways. Justice Society is from the comics, a parallel Justice League, the gang I've never heard of in the comics. So maybe they're like coming up with... maybe this is like the DCU introduction to... Here, let me actually get rid of... Put that away. Maybe it's like the DCU introduction to like the Justice League, because they have a Green Lantern. I don't know much about Hawkgirl, so I can't really say much, but is she in the Justice League? I don't know, she looks like she could be in one. And then Mr. Terrific is I've never heard of his character before though. Justice Gang before Justice Society. Oh, so they're not the League, they're the Society. Maybe are these guys all fighting for justice? Maybe they need a thesaurus to come up. Exactly, the Defenders. How could I forget about them? I hated their TV show. No, it was fine. I just hate the hand. Which is traditionally led by Doctor Strange, really. There was a plan to make them into the MCU with Luke Cage, Daredevil, and the other series. I wonder if they're still gonna do that. There has been rumors that Jessica Jones was spotted on the set of Daredevil. But I don't know about anybody else. I would like to see the Defenders come back in some capacity. It would be cool to see Doctor Strange. Actually, I don't know. I feel like Doctor Strange might like throw off their whole thing. I feel like he's like a little bit too powerful to be hanging out with those guys. Even like talking with them. I think he might be, I don't know, a little bit overqualified. Up Girls in the Justice League, yes. Justice League is quite a bit larger than people realize. Yeah, because if I'm thinking of... Wait. They have the picture at the end of here, don't they? Okay, so you have... Oh, is this her? I thought... If I didn't see, like, the midriff, I would have thought that that's, like, Harvey Birdman. Or that thing from, like, Cartoon Network, you know? Adult Swim. I wasn't allowed to watch Adult Swim, so I don't know. I just remember seeing his face on the commercials. Oh, there's Shazam. I like the Shazam movies. Well, okay, I liked it up until the end. Did I watch the second one? Was the second one where they... No. At the end of the movie, all of him and like his little brothers and sisters, right? They all got like Shazam powers, right? And they kept it. I wasn't really into that. I thought the story was more fun when it was just him, the kid, like, you know, dealing with his powers alone. But now that like his whole family like got the powers, I was like, yeah. Maybe have it happen in the second movie. I don't know. Whoever this justice is, Victoria Justice. I think we all sing. I think we all fight crime. Let's see. It's been more than 10 years since I last read a comic. I felt that. Oh, she is. She usually does... Wait. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Dumb hot-headed stuff with her mace in the animation. Wait, that's so fun. That's so fun. She was like kind of like crazy and unhinged in the movie. Not like all the time. But, you know, she was like really chill in her off work. But then like when they're doing like the fights and stuff, and like she's like really into it. She's like, rah! I'm sure you guys have seen like screenshots and stuff. But I mean, like even her, I feel like out of the Justice Gang, she might have had like the least amount of like things to do. I feel like you had, out of them, you had Mr. Terrific, and then after that you had the Green Lantern. What's his name? Hal? Was it Gardner? I don't know. Green Lantern with the bowl cut. Green Lantern. Superman. Guy Gardner. Why did I think his name was Hal? Guy Gardner. Yeah. Is Hal Jordan another Green Lantern? I was watching a video. Oh yeah, so there. Oh, so he's the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern. Dude, I watched that movie too. Probably only that one time. Do not remember it whatsoever. Oh, hey, we should have the Jonah Hill Green Lantern join the DCU from the Lego movie. I would like to see that. Okay, anyways, back to Superman. Yeah, there are a lot of characters. I do feel like the Guy Gardner, so it would be Mr. Terrific, and then Guy Gardner, you know, he's kind of there as like, he's an asshole, so that's what makes him funny. A little bit of comic relief. Yeah, I feel like Hawkgirl was sort of like, she wasn't just there. She had a little bit more to do than that, but like, you're not really gonna, like, for me, not knowing anything about her, I just know that she is cool. That's probably it. She's cool and she's over everybody's shit. That's kind of the vibe that I got. Let's see. I wrote down props to Lois and Clark, and when I wrote that down, I was like, Lois and Clark, like Lewis and Clark, was that done on purpose? Anyways, props to Lois and Clark for being such a believable couple right off the bat. I like that they were opposites. You know, she really challenges him. And in the movie, you're thrown, like I said, 300 years after metahumans like are found on Earth or whatever. 30 years after Kal-El like lands on Earth. 3 years, like they have this whole 3 things going on. So it's 3 months into their relationship. Oh, bravo, James, bravo. Oh yeah, 3 months into the relationship. So it's still like in a point where, you know, they're still kind of like in love with each other, but there's still a lot of room for uncertainty to develop. And I think that brought like a little bit of interesting conflict into them too. Oh, Starsky, thanks for stopping by. Gotta head out. Hopefully I can catch the end of stream. If not, thanks for the stream. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good rest of your day. But yeah, they put you in a really interesting spot to explore their relationship. Lex Luthor. Do I have a page? There we go. We have a page with him on it. Lex Luthor. I did feel kind of bad of him at the end. I don't know if you guys, maybe it's because I'm like heavy onto the Superman side of Twitter right now, but you know, there's been some screenshots of his face. Oh, it's in the trailer actually. Wait, it's in the trailer. Superman trailer. I just need to show you his face. I just felt really bad. Because you're like, man, dude, this guy is... He's a hater. He's molding. I also had an alarm, or... Yeah. What do I have at 2 p.m.? Is it in here? Oh my god, maybe I don't even have the right trailer. I don't know, but there's like this shot where, imagine like it looks like this, but he's like on the verge of tears, dude. He hates Superman so much that like Superman makes him want to cry. And it's so fun. It's so fun to see him be so mad, you know? In his mind, he's like the intellectual who wanted mad clout, but like it's thwarted by some Chad jock Superman. It's like the virgin Lex Luthor versus the Chad Superman. In a nutshell. But yeah, he tries to get back at Chad by studying at him and, you know, like trying to like make the thing that's gonna beat Chad to the ground. But Chad is Chad, man. Chad is Chad and Lex Luthor is virgin. Can he do it? I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, at the end of the movie where, you know, the conflict is completed, I guess. Yeah. Just when Lex Luthor just looks really, like, upset about how everything unfolded. Just, like, his hate for Superman. It was just... Wait, what did I write down? I'm trying to, like, reword my sentences in a way that doesn't spoil it. I don't know. I just think that Nicholas Hoult, he really killed it. He put so much emotion into being Superman's #1 hater. He's also really evil on like a macro level and a micro level too, because like he has this evil like grand plan to like rid the world of Superman once and for all, but then he does like small asshole things in the movie, which makes it like super funny too. Like there's like this one scene where he has like kind of like a tantrum that his plan isn't going to plan and he has like a little, you know, like a mug filled with like pens and stuff. He has like all of his like employees behind him shushing and like watching his every move, and he like knocks over the mug in anger. They all like rush over to like put it back together and they put it back on the desk, and then he knocks it over again. It's just like, dude, this guy sucks. He's such an asshole, right? But it's really funny. I don't know. Like I said, I really don't know a lot about Lex Luthor, so I can't really say much on like how, I guess not accurate, but like how accurate of a portrayal his is. But I mean, I had fun. The villain felt very human, and a human, like a bad dude, but like still a human. You know what I mean? He's like evil because he's just like, he just sucks. He's a dick. But you do feel like he is still a guy. You know what I mean? He's just a bad guy. Rich bald man with daddy issues and jealousy issues. I don't think that I thought much about his parents at all in the movie, but jealousy issues is certainly a thing. He loathes Superman, and I think it's really funny. It's really funny. I think it's like a classic like good guy, like what is it? Like 100% good guy and 100% bad guy, you know? Let's see. I also wrote down about the Justice Gang, which I probably should have read this earlier, but I said that they're supporting characters and do exactly that, support Superman's story. It's not gratuitous fan service cameos, but just established heroes in the beginnings of their new squad, learning to be a team. I didn't have any expectations for them since I'm not familiar with their characters at all, but they had fun banter, and I'm excited to look into them further and see them get fleshed out in this universe, which I think is what you want the movie to serve, right? You want people to not just come back to the movies, but also be like, oh, I want to learn about like how this character was in previous iterations of these stories. And because I did enjoy the Superman movie, I will read this. I mean, I have it. I will read it. Maybe not soon, but you know, when I've had more time to sit with the movie and like really think about the characters and think like, okay, I want to see how they are in their original form. I think that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to be a good hook. A good hook. My favorite depiction of Lex is certainly in... Oh my gosh, I keep clicking on the wrong thing. Is certainly in the chapter in Justice League Unlimited that he defeats DC's Thanos. Oh, Darkseid. Darkseid. Was he in any of the movies? His name sounds really familiar. Lex in the Superman animated series was good from what I remember. Maybe I should watch clips of that so that way I could get like more of like a broad sense of what these characters are supposed to be. I don't know if I'll ever like sit down and watch the whole shows, but maybe like watching clips will help me fill in some of the blanks. Stormy, hello! I'm doing good. How about you? How about yourself? We are yapping about the new Superman now. Yeah, I'm trying to keep it as spoiler free as I can. Maybe light spoilers, but you know, not like if you want to know nothing before watching this or Fantastic Four, you know, maybe lurk or like mute or come back to the stream later. But if you are okay to hear like bits and pieces and like my reactions of the movies, feel free to stay. Okay. All right, so I wrote this for the main character. So the message, I said Superman is just a good guy. That's what makes him super. He has like his little heroic speech at the end that I thought was really inspiring. I know a lot of people's reactions after watching this movie was like, I want to be a better person. I think you've seen like that meme of like Superman laying in like the table thing and he's smiling and like he's like this symbol of hope now, not just like in their world and like not just like amongst Superman fans, but like I think amongst the general public who's introduced into this like new hopeful iteration of Superman. Yeah, I've just seen him like associated a lot with like Hope Corps stuff, if that makes sense. Let's see. Yeah, he's a good guy. That's what makes him super. His speech at the end was inspiring. That he is the man that he is because of his failures. That despite failing, he's going to get back up and try it again. So I think that's what also makes the point that they decide to start this movie so strong. If you want to know like just the theme of this movie in general, they start this story after his very first loss for a reason, because you're exploring like what does Superman do when he loses for the first time, right? He gets back up and he fights and he protects the people that he loves, and even when things seem hopeless, he keeps doing it. And I think that was like a really nice thing to see in this movie. Yeah, I'm trying to say more about it, but like, I don't want to spoil. He's gonna keep getting back up and try it again to do good, because that's what good people do. This is the heart of the movie. Superman failing And we see him get back up to not let his loved ones down. He's a good guy on the macro and micro level. Oh yeah, there's this scene, you notice it a lot too, that he, you know, he doesn't want innocent like people to get hurt, innocent lives to get hurt. They didn't have to include this scene, and I think like test audience also didn't react well to it, but Gunn insisted that they keep it. He saves a squirrel from getting crushed by like a car from collateral damage, and then he's like annoyed with like the Justice Gang. He's like, guys, like you're doing this too recklessly, you know, like maybe we can find a more peaceful way and like less destructive way to take care of this problem. But yeah, the scene that he saved the squirrel, that really stuck out to me because one, I love squirrels, I think they're so cute, but B, it's like, you know, they didn't have to make a scene where he does that. And I'm so glad that they didn't cut it out, because it's like, of course a squirrel is going to get caught in like a collateral damage when a city's being destroyed. But the fact that they even thought of like, oh, we should show him saving a squirrel, I think it shows how he appreciates life on like all levels and stuff. And I don't, it's just like a good guy thing to do. He didn't have to save the squirrel. And the fact that they didn't even have to like write that into the movie, but the fact that they went out of their way to show him doing that, even if like some people might not understand, like, oh, it's just a squirrel. That's the difference between normal people and Superman. To him, it's just not just a squirrel, you know? Wait, my mom texted me. I had a call. Oh, okay, no, she just texted. Okay, anyways. I'm glad to see you're getting into the DC side of things thanks to the movie. I haven't seen it yet though, but I want to. Yes, I love superheroes. Like, sure, the DCEU was not my thing, but like, I'm glad that like, you know, a lot of people did enjoy it. I'm just really happy that there's movies, like superhero movies, like more of them that sort of fit, not what I want to see, but I guess just sort of like vibe with me, that resonate with me. And I'm really excited to like see this cinematic universe develop and like it be introduced to new characters and stuff. I think that's really the most important thing that can happen from any of these movies, right? Just introducing classic characters to new audiences. Yeah. Anyways, what did I write? What else did I write? Let's see. End notes. Great movie. Dare I say, super? Superman's speech at the end will stick with me for a while, and it will make me think every day, what can I do to do good today? Even if I'm scared or uncertain, even if I fail, how can I show up not just for myself but for others too? I gave this movie a 4 out of 5. Yeah, I mean, it's not like groundbreaking or anything, you know, but it's a fun time. I was fully immersed in their world for a moment. Let's see, what else did I write in here? Let's see. I wrote down, maybe we don't want to see stories about extraordinary people doing extraordinary things. We want to go back to the neighborhood stories, ordinary people doing extraordinary things. That feeling that we all can make a change in our world. I think that's true too. Like thinking about that, like, this was just a random tangent or random thought that I just, you know, slapped onto my notes. But we want to go back to the neighborhood stories, like, you know, people saying like, oh, I want to scale back after Endgame, like thinking specifically about Spider-Man and the hype of Spider-Man's like neighborhood story coming back, right? Seeing ordinary people, well, I guess they're not like, clearly he's not an ordinary guy. But he's not super because of his powers. He's super because of his motivation to like continuously do good for the people that he loves, and because he knows that he can protect Earth from dangers and stuff. He knows that he's capable of doing that. I think you see that in Invincible too. I think that's probably another reason why people like Invincible. He is like this mega strong dude, but you do get to see Mark struggle with what his heritage is, I guess, for lack of a better word, what his heritage is, and trying to be good because that's how his parents raised him, to be a good guy. he knows that he has the power to save the world, especially from like the threats of like his own bloodline coming after his own like people, even though he might not like resonate with them. But you know, his culture is coming. You know what I mean, right? We get to see Mark struggle with that. We get to see Superman. I guess what I'm trying to say is that we want to see stories where people do extraordinary things. And that might be like my issue with like the Man of Steel movies, but it could be because I also don't remember them too well. But he always felt like a superhero coming down to like save the world, right? He never really felt like, of course he like grew up on Earth, but I don't really feel like I felt that too much in those movies. Whereas in this one, I do kind of feel like, oh, he's just a nice guy who grew up here and just happened to have like these powers. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? When do we see a superhero arc with your model? Oh, Tori, I don't even think I have anything like that. Maybe I could find one. Wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be fun? Yeah, my power, I would choose teleportation. So that way, you know, I feel like it just seems really convenient. But I don't think I would be a superhero. I don't even think I would want people to know about my powers. Because I'm gonna use it selfishly, and I don't want people to like ask me for anything. I'll be like, oh man, I really wish I could go to like blah 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 right now, and then, you know, I'll teleport there. Or if I'm really in a rush, I'll teleport nearby so I can make it to something on time, you know? I would not use my powers to like benefit society whatsoever. It's just to make my own life more convenient. A super villain? No, I just be a super person. A super demon. I just be an average citizen with extraordinary abilities. But if you like, no, you can't ask me to do anything for. I'm not gonna give you any favors. Like, this is for me. It's for me. Yeah, a super civilian. Exactly. Teleports behind you. Nothing personnel, kid. And then I wrap my tail around you. Oh, superheroes for Halloween? Oh, that'd be so much fun. That'd actually be so much fun. Let's see. But yeah, let's see. I wrote down Superman's humanity. I think you also apply that to Spider-Man. Like I said, invincible. I think Peacemaker, his will to be better. I think that's also what makes the Thunderbolts really fun. Because, like, you know, you're not just seeing, like, some superpowered dude, like, deal with his superpower problems. You're seeing a superpowered dude deal with, like, real human problems, I think. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say earlier. That's what's fun. That's what's fun about these movies. That's what I like about them. I also wrote down, Superman is actually, like, not my favorite James Gunn project. I think if you're looking for something that's distinctly James Gunn and you're really expecting that in that movie, I would say come here with like no expectations and have a good time. I think that's the case for any movie. Don't have any expectations when you go in and watch it. But if you are going to this because you're like, oh, I love James Gunn, I want to see like more of stuff with like his flair on there, I think that this might be the least Gunnsy movie out of the superhero projects that I've seen him do. But it's still a really good movie. If I had to rank my favorites, I would pick Peacemaker as number 1, which makes sense because I think he said it's his favorite project to work on. Makes sense, his wife is on there. But I feel like the fact that he loves Peacemaker and like the cast and the crew so much, that really shows in like how much fun that they're having to film it, you know? Like, it's just really fun to watch. So I'll read Peacemaker first. After that, Guardians 1 through 3. So like or I guess Guardians 1, 3, and 2. That's how I listed it. But like the Guardians trilogy as a whole. And then after that, I would put Superman as like more enjoyable for me over the Suicide Squad. I did write, I haven't seen the Suicide Squad in a while, so I don't know where I'd rank it. It was a fun movie, but I don't know why I tend to forget about it sometimes. I mean, I think it's not that I forget about the Suicide Squad, but I think I forget that like James Gunn is like specifically behind it, even though it does feel really like a movie that he has his fingerprints on, you know, like very like nasty. I don't know how else to describe it besides like nasty, you know. He does gore really well. But if you're looking for something more gunsy, I think Superman, because it's like such a hopeful film, it doesn't really get nasty at all. I would say it's less like James Gunn fingerprint than the Suicide Squad. But I did enjoy this movie more than, I mean, I don't know. I think it is as fun as the Suicide Squad, but yeah. I think like the lasting impact. I think about this movie more. Maybe I might have enjoyed watching did I? I don't know. I was gonna say maybe it's possible that I had more fun watching Suicide Squad than watching Superman, but Superman leaves me more to think about after the movie than the Suicide Squad did, if that makes sense. But I gotta save the world. Never! Never! No one will hear about my powers, ever. When we could teleport organs for transplanting, yeah, I want to wake up at like, you know, 8 o'clock, and then maybe I could teleport to a cafe, get some coffee, and then teleport like to work. That would be cool. That's what I want. I want my time back. Is there any better superpower than that? Okay, all right, and just to wrap it up really quick, Fantastic Four. I think between Superman and Fantastic Four, I do think Superman is a bit more of a stronger movie. But I think that's just because they really did a good job at tying like the theme together and making you feel like it's like a really hopeful movie, you know, like when you like even in the camera shots too, like there's a lot of like lens flare behind Superman, maybe to the point where it's like a little excessive, but I think it makes sense. It's a very like bright and light movie, and I think they are just really good at like nailing together like the whole theme of hope and being a good person and all of that, right? That being said, Fantastic Four isn't like a bad movie. I did still rank it 4 out of 5, the same score that I gave Superman. Let's see. Let me read the synopsis, because I want to be a little bit more careful about not spoiling this one. Fantastic Four First Steps. Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, Human Torch, and the Thing face their most daunting challenge yet as they defend Earth from Galactus and the Silver Surfer. The thing is, this thing is like so central to the plot, and it's like kind of alluded to in the title that I'm just like, is this even a spoiler? Is this even a spoiler? I don't know. So I guess I let me try and censor myself. I would say that it was nice seeing family as a whole concept driving the story. I think that that's like something that you really, at least for me, I really felt like I only seen that in The Incredibles. And I wrote down here, the beginning was basically The Incredibles. Like they had the Mole Man too, and he even had like that little like drill car, and you know, a lot of comparisons are being made between Fantastic Four and The Incredibles, like when it comes to their powers and stuff. But that whole thing too, I was just like, is this like on purpose? But yeah, I love that each of the characters contributed into the team. I don't know if it felt that way with the other like Fantastic Four movies. I've only seen the first ones, the Chris Evans, Jessica Alba, that guy from 102 Dalmatians. And I haven't seen them in a while either, now that I think about it. Let's see. I wrote down for those movies, I did enjoy those movies and felt a similar nostalgia. Wait, Oh, I did enjoy this movie, Fantastic Four 2025, and I felt a similar nostalgia for the old Fantastic Four movies while watching this one, even though I don't remember those old movies too much. What I remember most from that old movie was like they had like a wedding scene. I don't know if it was like the Thing was getting married to somebody, but I remember like they were on the roof and it was like a rooftop garden, and I don't know what happened after that. Maybe they got like pulled in the battle or something, or maybe it was a happy ending. I don't know. But I do remember those movies, and I remember liking them. But I don't remember if I thought that it was like, oh, this movie rocks. You know, I think I just enjoyed watching superhero and stretchy man. Okay, let me go. I thought that it would be distracting a little bit seeing Pedro Pascal, you know, in the movie, because like even though he's in everything, right? And to me, I think he's really good at blending into his roles. But you know, there's like been a lot of discourse lately about how he's not just in everything, but people are just talking about him a lot in general. So I thought that I was gonna be being taken out of the immersion just by seeing his face, like not any fault of his own, but just like, you know, just because you see his face everywhere, not just in the movies, but like also online nowadays too. But you know, sometimes I did think like, oh, Pedro fantastic, but like I never really thought like, oh, Joel fantastic, or oh, you know, this guy is Pedro Pascal. And I think like even by halfway through the movie, I was thinking like, oh, Mr. Fantastic is doing X, Y, and Z, right? I think he did a pretty good job, and he brings like, because he's just such a good actor. And I watched this video the other day too. I think it's by Dodford, Dodford. But basically this YouTuber, he puts together like interviews of an actor and tells their story through that. And Pedro, he was like, you know, like a screen actor, like side characters or supporting characters for like the first, I don't know, like 20, maybe like 10, 15, 20 years of his career. And then he got onto Game of Thrones, and he was gonna quit. He was actually gonna quit acting, or like give up on like becoming, you know, a movie actor, I guess, and maybe move on to like the stage plays and stuff. He was gonna quit acting until he got that Game of Thrones role. So it's like when you learn that kind of stuff, if I was getting offer after, hell yeah. Hell yeah. And it seems like he has a lot of fun doing it, and he makes like a lot of connections with people. Either way, after I learned that, I was like, oh, you know, do whatever you want. Sign as many movie deals as you want. Just be good at it, which doesn't seem like a hard ask for him. But yeah. I never felt like pulled out of the movie because of Pedro's casting. In fact, I think, I mean, I don't really know much about like how Mr. Fantastic is supposed to be, but I liked it. I thought it was pretty solid. Okay, let me catch up with the comments because it's been a while since I looked here. Crazy James Gunn wrote the first 2 live-action Scooby-Doo movies. Yes, right? And that's another thing that I wanted to say. That's also like an ensemble cast that he handled pretty well. I mean, but then again, it's like Scooby-Doo. Everybody knows it's Scooby-Doo, and everybody knows who Scooby-Doo is. I think it's like a little bit less of a comparison, but like I'm thinking of like, you know, he's handled Scooby-Doo really well. He's handled like making people care about the Guardians of the Galaxy really well. He's handled like people making people care about not just the Suicide Squad all over again, but also Peacemaker getting his own show. When I remember like people, when I watched the Suicide Squad, I was like, dude, fuck this guy. I thought fuck Peacemaker. I didn't think he was like that interesting to get his own show either. Not only did they make you care about Peacemaker, but like it was cool rewatching the Suicide Squad and seeing Hardcore and Economist in there. And you know, like when I first watched Peacemaker, I was like, oh, I didn't realize that they were even in the movie. But now when I watch the movie, I'm like, oh my god, they're here in the movie. I'm so excited. And like I'm like really paying attention to the characters and stuff too. He, even if Superman had like a lot of characters, I mean, but he's like the head of DCU now. So I have just, I don't know, I just have like my full trust. I don't know if trust is the word, but I'm just really excited, I guess, to say or to see him take over the helm and introduce the world to like all of these characters and stuff. I think it's in good hands, is what I'm trying to say. I think it's in really good hands. I was thinking about that. I guess they definitely got a lot of inspiration from The Incredibles. The guy who does the score, I don't know his name. Fantastic Four score. I believe he did the same score for The Incredibles, which I think makes sense because you have like this. I mean, if you think about the aesthetics, right? They're both like retro futuristic. Michael Giacchino. Michael, good job. I think you found your musical niche. I don't know what else he's done, but you know, I think like retro futuristic superheroes. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Thumbs. I'm trying to show my thumbs up, but I assure you, my thumbs are up. Let's see. Oh, there is this scene where the Silver Surfer is like riding through like these massive flames, maybe even lava, I don't know, that like Johnny conjured in a certain scene. I am not going to tell too much detail, but I thought that was so cool because it felt very like, I don't know, like old, like 2000s, you know, like pre-2010s, like superhero scene, right? Like she's surfing in lava. Can it get any cooler than that? You know what I mean? That part specifically made me feel really nostalgic for like the old Fantastic Four movies. I've never seen Fan Four Stick, whatever that one is. Say that again. I've never seen that one. I wouldn't know if it's good or not. But based on Say That Again, I can assume the worst. Let's see. I also wrote down CGI wasn't always perfect, and some parts were a little jarring. There was like one character specifically that the CGI was just like, ugh, for some parts of the movie. But the thing, there's only one scene where his CGI looked like, nah. But for the most part, it was really good. Like I actually thought that he seemed kind of like a claymation or like an action figure because like the light was hitting his character like so well. Like he seemed out of like, you know, real life material. Like the render was just so good, but it wasn't like of the same scene, but it worked for me, you know? I really liked seeing him as like, it really just felt like he was an action figure, like a claymation, just hanging out with like to scale with like everybody else. I thought it was really cool. But yeah, when I was watching the movie, especially like watching the Silver Surfer, I was just like, you know, I don't even want like perfect CGI, right? Because I can suspend my disbelief, and I actually really like that the Silver Surfer CGI was like, maybe it could have been like the theater. No, but I watched it in, where did I watch it? Did I watch it in IMAX? I don't know, but like maybe it could have just been like my theater resolution, but also could have just been like after watching the Avatar trailer, because that was crazy. But you know, you can tell it's CGI, and I was like, I actually like it looking a little bit more, I guess, like plasticky. Maybe it just really worked with me for the Silver Surfer, I don't know, but I really liked it looking plasticky because it made the movie feel more nostalgic too, if that makes sense. Doesn't really act the same way. They're actors that you can tell they still sort of act the same. Yeah, I think he does really act a lot different in every single role. Like I wouldn't mistake like I could imagine his Joel and like his Reed Richards interacting and like being completely different characters. You know what I mean? What else have I seen him in? I've seen him in Wonder Woman 1984 too. That was like also a completely different character, I feel like. He just has like a really recognizable face, and you know, it's sort of like Leonardo DiCaprio doesn't really have like that many movies coming out at the same time. So it might not be like a one-to-one comparison, but it's like when you're looking at a Leonardo DiCaprio character, you're not looking at him and you're thinking like, oh, that's Leonardo DiCaprio, right? Like you're seeing him as like, what's his name? Mr. Candy or whatever, the guy from Django, or like the guy from the Titanic, you know? Yeah. I can see like him having 3 movies out being like excessive, but I don't really think those movies like overlap in audiences at all either. Wait, what is the movie? I'm thinking of like he has that one rom-com that's out. No, he has the one rom-com, the one A24 movie, and he has the Fantastic Four. I don't really think that audience is really going to overlap. So sure, you're seeing like his face in poster and stuff, but unless you're like a real film buff, I don't really like. He's just really, yeah. I don't know. I don't really see it being an issue. You know what I mean? I liked him as Joel. I think sure, The Last of Us, the second season didn't really hit as well. I do think like the game's storytelling is a lot better, but I mean, I've always thought that it's a story that deserves to be handed to the general public, and as much as I would prefer that their first experience with part 2 especially is even like just with the game cutscenes, I'm glad, because I feel like it's like a stronger way to tell the story, but I am glad that it exists, like the show exists, even if they don't like nail the storytelling perfectly. I'm glad that it exists because not everybody's gonna play a game, but I feel like everybody should witness the greatness that is The Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2. I think it's a really compelling story about, I mean, it's in the name, right? The Last of Us. What does humanity do when they are confronted with, not just like a disease that like splinters society? I mean, yeah, I guess that's it. Like, what do they do when they are splintered as a society? They faction up, they fight each other, they hold on to hope, but you know, they also are selfish in like the moments of you know, like tough decisions. And it's a story where like nobody is ever right. So I think it's like something that deserves it to be broadcasted to, you know, everybody across the world, because it's like it's a story that everybody can like, you know, chat about, like, oh, do you agree with like what X, Y, and Z did during The Last of I'm so sorry to hear that. No, that's like, I think it's so peak. I think it's it builds on the first game in the most interesting way. Like, sure, is it an absolutely miserable experience? 100% agree. But like, I think that's the point. It's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable. It's supposed to make you feel filled with rage. I think as long as you felt something, and I mean, I think that's like what does its job. Last of Us 1 was about hope. Last of Us 2 throws it all away to make you feel bad and says, yeah, Joel is a piece of shit. I don't think so. I completely disagree, actually. I think The Last of Us 1, it's not about hope. I think it's about a lot more than that. Because Joel threw away the hope. And this is, we're going completely off topic, but I could talk about this story forever. Joel threw away the hope for the rest of the world to return to normalcy for his own selfish reason, right? And it's not to say that I disagree with him. I think any parent would make the same decision. But I think that's the point of the games as well, right? It's about people in a hard situation making difficult decisions, and then the consequences of those decisions, not just how it affects their real life, but how it affects like everybody else's real life, right? Because as part 2 explores, the doctors that Joel killed weren't just random like NPCs. They actually had lives going on. They actually I mean, the doctor was the only living man who could make a vaccine. And yeah. He's the only living man that could make a vaccine, and he just so happened to be a father, right? A father of a daughter who loved him very much and was willing to go to hell and back to avenge her own dad in the same way that Ellie does. She goes to hell and back to avenge her father figure. I don't think the game is like telling anybody to feel any way about Joel, but I do think that they explore how other characters feel about Joel. And if it's making you consider their point, like, oh, this maybe, like, I don't know, maybe it's making you like think like, oh, this person, I think that's what it does. It's telling you like, oh, this person thinks Joel is a piece of shit, but the game's never ever telling you like how to feel or like how to act. I think that they're just telling you how the reality is in that world, and encouraging you to make your own conclusions, even if you have to disagree with the game, if that makes sense. Or have to disagree as the characters that you're playing as. That's the thing though, the Fireflies worked on others for a cure and it didn't work. Then why would it work now? I believe they didn't have other people to make a cure, right? Literally Ellie was the only one with a mutation in her genes. That was their only hope. They had a strong feeling that it would work. Did they know? Did the characters know? I don't know, but the writers knew that it would work. So we could take that with not a grain of salt, but we could take that as like their word, right? The writers knew that if the doctor were to make a cure out of Ellie's genetics, the attempt would be successful. That's what the writers have stated. Do the characters know that? That's not certain. But that's the question of the morality, right? It's the whole like railroad problem. Would you rather save the person that you love or save the rest of the humanity, right? Some people will save the person that they love and say fuck you to the rest of humanity. Some people will do the opposite. But that's like the question that is explored, right? Particularly in the climax of the game. But to make that climax more impactful, you have to go on this whole journey of seeing Joel learn to see hope and learn to have love again, to become less cynical and like, I guess, jaded by the world outside him. And they set up all that groundwork in the introduction with like, you know, him losing his daughter. So you can see why his feelings for Ellie is so deep. And why that decision at the end of the game has so much impact. But regardless, it was nobody's decision to be made. I mean, I think regardless, the climax is like a hard like situation for everybody, right? Joel isn't supposed to make that decision for Ellie. The doctor isn't supposed to make that decision for Ellie. That's like a decision for Ellie to make. Herself, and like nobody can kill her without like assuming. I mean, you can assume that she would want her life to end that way, but yeah. It's kind of hard when Neil Druckmann is telling his like how he feels about the story though, right? He's not the only man who's like written or like worked on the story, and even if that's the case, like he's not writing it to say, oh, everybody, I want you guys to hate Joel, right? That's not the point of the game. He's drawing his own conclusions, being like, and I wouldn't say Joel was like a terrible person, but I would say like I don't agree with his decision, and I don't agree with his decision to double down on keeping it a secret from Ellie for so long, right? But yeah, we're getting off topic. I am a passionate defender of The Last of Us Part 2. I think that it's I could see like why it's so divisive from people. But for me, I think that it's a masterpiece in storytelling. Like I love the story. I think it unfolded in the perfect way. Like, sure, was it like a necessary addition? No, but the writers felt like they had more to explore in the world, and I mean, it's not an unwelcome one for me. It's not happy, it's completely miserable, but I do think that the themes from the first one are echoed in the second one, even if it's like a lot darker than the first one, you know what I mean? The themes of like family and what are you willing to sacrifice to save the ones that you love, right? Abby went on the complete opposite journey as Ellie, but Ellie was able to turn around to it at the end, right? Yeah, I really love the game so much. I'm sorry that you can't even enjoy it. I hope that if you do decide to give it another chance, that it will resonate with you. But I loved it. I loved it. Exactly, an exercise in empathy. Yeah. I think like the fact that they could make a game that's like so. Like you either love it or you hate it. Like I don't think there's anybody who's like really like so lukewarm to it. But I think it's a story that's supposed to make you feel something, right? Whether it's like I said, love or hate. And so I think that's like a testament to how strong the writing is. Not just in the second one, but in the first one for making people feel so attached to Joel, only to see what happen. And to feel that hate towards Abby, to feel that sense of revenge playing as Ellie. And then some people do grow to like Abby and some people do not. But I mean, I think that's like, I don't think that the writing in the game is like weak in any way at all. I think it's a very strong game. But if the story doesn't unfold in the way that you want it to unfold, yeah. And go back on topic. Yeah. Sorry. I love the storytelling in that game. I love storytelling in general. So let's go back to storytelling. Where do you think they will go from here with Fantastic Four? Do they take a second movie or do they go into the next Avengers? Ooh, I wish I could talk about that, but it might be a little bit spoilerish. I don't know. Is it? I would say, and I shouldn't have done this with the movie, but I would say that in the entire movie, I was thinking of like, okay, I know this Fantastic Four takes place on a different Earth, but when are we gonna see like that come together? It doesn't happen, which I think is for the better. So if you want to wait to see like the universes, like how they connect, don't wait for it because it won't happen. And I think that gives a lot stronger first impression of the Fantastic Four because you are relying solely on them. You're relying solely on the main cast. I hope I wasn't being too hard about The Last of Us 2. No, of course not. I enjoy like a little bit of friendly debate. So it was really fun to like verbalize like why I like the story so much, especially when I feel like the TV show, the last season, has been a little bit subpar. Because I think the story, like I said, I think it's peak. So I just want, I hope that everybody can enjoy the story, or even if they don't enjoy it, I hope that everybody can experience the story and have like come to their own conclusion, and as long as like it makes you feel some type of way, I think the writers have accomplished their job. But yeah, Fantastic Four. Yeah, I wish I could say what would happen next. But yeah. I don't know how much of a spoiler it is. So I will keep that secret a hush hush. Besides the fact that they're gonna stay there in their own universe throughout the entirety of the movie, which I think good. I didn't really like enjoy it as I was watching the movie because I kept thinking like, oh, are they gonna connect it here? Are they gonna connect it here? But like, when you come into a movie with expectations, you're not gonna have fun. Let's see. Galactus though. I've watched the Eternals, right? And you know that scene where the Celestial's face, just like the head of the Celestial just it takes up the entire skyline, right? That is terrifying to me. the same way that I'm scared of zombies losing their humanity, and their humans still being inside, I feel the same way about like giant beings. The fact that their mere size can make me feel like I've lost my humanity because it makes me feel like a bug. I think that's like actually terrifying. So yeah, Galactus. Some parts of it were pretty scary as someone who's scared of giants. But he wasn't like that big though. He wasn't that big all the time. I thought he would be like celestial size, and I was like kind of waiting for him to take up the entire skyline. But I mean, as tall as you see him, he's like the size of a building, which was like kind of unnerving. But it wasn't like, you know, existentially like shaking me to my core. You know what I mean? I know the scene. I haven't seen Eternals though. That scene like freaks me out in a good way. But yeah, wrapping up my thoughts about Fantastic Four, it's a good movie. It felt like a classic Marvel movie, not in the way that like the Thunderbolts did, but like I feel like if the Thunderbolts, I don't know how to explain the Thunderbolts. It feels like a good movie that came out in like Phase 3 MCU, right? Fantastic Four feels like a good Marvel movie that came out in like late Phase 1, early Phase 2. You know what I mean? I don't know what about it makes it feel that way. But I mean, I think if you want to watch a superhero movie, even just like as a standalone, I think Fantastic Four is a pretty solid watch. My favorite things about the movie were the chemistry between the entire family, to be honest, especially between Ben and Johnny, because I was thinking about this, right? Here, let me get these guys out. All right, so you have Mr. Fantastic, right? Mr. Fantastic, he's married to Sue, so of course they're like, right? Of course they're friends, right? And then Sue, her brother, is Flame On, right? So of course they're friends, and he's like, oh yeah, this is my brother-in-law. They're already family, right? But the Thing and Mr. Fantastic, they're best friends, right? So I was thinking the Thing and Johnny, they don't have to be friends. They don't really have like a lot of like ties together besides like, oh, he is my brother-in-law's best friend, versus like, oh yeah, this is my husband's best friends. They could be friends. But like, I thought it was really nice that despite like, you know, they don't really have to be friends, you know what I mean, that they are really close, and it does make the whole thing feel like, you know, real like nice family dynamic. They had the robot too, which was really cute, and like the whole movie, just like the whole like set design and stuff, the retro futurism, I think it's really, you know, you got like a lot of bubbles, a lot of like sleek designs. It's a lot of fun. I don't know, it's just a lot of fun to like just look at the background and stuff and see what kind of little details that they put in there. Camellia, hi, welcome. We're talking spoiler-free Fantastic Four. Spoiler alert, I had a good time. In Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer, they made, really? Galactus a black hole? I don't remember him being in that movie at all. Maybe because he was a black hole. It's because Thunderbolts utilized MCU established... yes, that's of course. MCU established characters. Fantastic Four, while the characters were pre-established in their movie, they were not pre-established MCU. Yes, that's exactly the distinction. Because I was thinking like, well, they both have like a family thing. They both work as standalone movies. Like, I don't think, well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe the Thunderbolts would be better if you see Black Widow, at least. Yeah, actually, you do need a little bit of homework to watch the Thunderbolts. Okay, I should probably wrap up soon, dude. I've been yapping for so long, and I keep getting phone notifications. I'm like, dude, who is texting me? And what was my alarm earlier today? But, yeah. I liked Fantastic Four. I said it felt like a good Marvel movie, a classic. It was definitely like formulaic, but it felt that way in a good way. Actually, did it really feel for? I mean, maybe not like super. Maybe not super, because they go out and Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say it feels like super formulaic, but I would say like maybe not in the way that the plot unfolds, but probably like, you know, what you would expect out of like a Marvel movie, right? They do some of the Marvel things, but you know, you come to a superhero movie expecting a certain experience, and I felt like this delivered in a good way, you know? It wasn't underwhelming and stuff, but yeah. Black Widow, Falcon, and the Winter Soldier are both kind of needed. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Yeah. The shows. I was thinking of Brave New World. I was like, I still want to know why Marvel gave us a Black Widow movie 10 years too late. And it felt like it was like straight out of a 10 years like ago era. But I mean, I like the cast, so if the timing gave us such a good cast, I guess I'm cool with it. I really like Florence Pugh as Yelena. I think she's really fun, and she brings I think she brings a little bit more charisma to the Black Widow type of character, you know what I mean? Not that I didn't like Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow, but I mean, as a kid, you know, I watched these movies as a kid, but like growing up, to me, she felt kind of just there. And then she had like that whole romance with Bruce Banner, and that just kind of felt like, oh, okay. Like to me, that was kind of like, oh, hey, by the way, we have this character. Ghost was in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yes, Ghost was in Ant-Man and the Wasp. But to be honest, I don't like, I watched Thunderbolts knowing Ghost was in Ant-Man and the Wasp, but I didn't like really, I don't think you have to know too much beyond that. I don't really remember much else about that character. I think if you go into it thinking like, I think it's good to know Yelena and the Russian Captain America's backstory, but I mean, I think for everybody else, I mean, of course you want to know Bucky's backstory too. I think that really helps, but it's like for everybody else, you can really just think like, oh, okay, they're a bad guy who wants to be good. All right, got it, and you should be good. Red Guardian, yes. I was like, Red Scare? No, that's a podcast. I'll put my little stuffed animals back. But I think I definitely enjoyed Fantastic Four more than I did the Thunderbolts. But I mean, I wonder if it's because the Thunderbolts, like, they sort of like hyped it up and like, you know, you kind of had expectations for it. Not that the Thunderbolts was like bad by any means, but I do think that it felt a bit more formulaic than Fantastic Four did. Fantastic Four, I feel like even if you don't watch MCU at all, you could just like tune in, watch that movie. Like if you just were a big fan of the old Fantastic Four movies, go ahead and watch that one. I think you'll have a good time with it. I know a lot of people are just kind of like, I don't know, maybe people don't like seeing these ideas continuously getting hashed out, but I think it's really fun to see, and I think even with like The Last of Us too, but like different iterations and adaptations of characters, because you can explore them in different ways, even if it might not necessarily be like canon, right? So like MCU canon is not going to be the same as like comic book canon, I'm assuming. But I don't know, I think it's just really fun to it's kind of like the What If series, you know, you're throwing these characters into like a new lens and you get to explore them, like meeting different characters or like being thrown into different challenges and seeing how they react to it. As someone who used to roleplay a lot and had, I wouldn't make a new character for a specific roleplay. I would have a roster of characters that I would flesh out as I throw them into different like roleplay scenarios. So maybe it would be like a school one or a superhero one or like a townies one, right? And seeing how like they react to different characters, different plot points, different obstacles, I would go back and refine them a little bit more. Like, oh, I discovered like this part about their personality, like when faced with like a tough situation, they'll do X, Y, and Z. I think that's really, really fun. So I, for one, I really like seeing we're like what, on our 4th Mr. Fantastic. I like it. I like it. Boomi is worthy. Hell yeah. Look, I'm so worthy. I can even... I broke it. No, I bought this. Dude, this shit was $14.99. Can you believe that? But I was already in line and I didn't want to put it back. And I was like, well, I just got paid. I'll get it. But I bought this and I showed my roommate. And my roommate was like, wow, that's so cool. And she took this and she tried to swing it like the Hulk. Bloop. Like, bro. Come on. Maybe I could super glue it back together, but I would have to buy super glue, so... I heard Thunderbolts handles the themes of mental health pretty well. Yeah, actually. And I think that they would be a good, like, see if like all the superhero movies were to like, you know, you go there for like a certain experience. Not to say like all the Thunderbolts movie have to be like, okay, well, how are we going to explore mental health in this movie? But I think like these characters are ripe for that kind of storytelling, you know, because these are characters that are struggling with like bad things that they've done in the past. They're trying to like reconcile with their past and, you know, all of that. I think if there's any group of characters who to explore those themes with, you don't have to like pull in, I don't know, like Miss Marvel or something. And she's a happy girl. We don't we don't have to see her like, you know, go through all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I wonder like if there are plans for that, or no, what am I trying to say? I think it would be fun if, you know, characters can kind of live in their own like movies, you know, and like you're going to the movies and like you're knowing what to expect from like all of these characters instead of them trying to like modge podge different themes. It's kind of like, I don't know how to explain it well, but kind of like Thor, Love and Thunder, right? I think that the miss was that they want to make it like Ragnarok. Ragnarok was fun for its time, but for the place, and I know it's like a common criticism, but like for the place that Thor was in mentally, like he just experienced loss on a massive scale. I think, not to say that they have to like, you know, omit humor entirely, but they could have like, if they wanted to keep the humorous aspect in Thor, which I really liked in Ragnarok, I thought it made his character a lot more interesting, and I think it fits. But if they want to like use the humor, maybe they could use the humor to explore like that being his how he copes with like the loss of everything. I don't know, I just think it could have been like a lot tighter, you know. And I think if they want to explore themes of loss, Thor could be a good character to explore that with. I don't know, I really don't know. I'm not a filmmaker or anything. I'm just a hobbyist writer and movie watcher. Not even film watcher. The only movies I go see any nowadays is superhero movies. I've been trying to expand my reach. I did go see Nosferatu in theaters last year when we did a whole stream on that, and I would never like go and watch Nosferatu, like a movie like that in movie theaters, but I wanted to, you know, try something different, and I loved that experience. I actually understood. I don't go watch horror movies at all, but like I understood like the appeal from even just watching the trailers for Nosferatu, like the appeal of watching horror movies in a movie theater. I don't know if I would ever find a horror movie that's like, you know, right up my alley. I'm not a huge fan of like jump scares, but more of like unsettling kind of things. The only thing I could think of is The Witch, which is also Robert Eggers. That one was a horror movie that I also really liked. I want to watch Hereditary too, because I didn't know that the brother from the Naked Brothers band was in it until the recent It's Always Sunny episode. I was like, wait a second, is that Alex Wolff from the Naked Brothers band? And people were like, hey, is that the kid from Hereditary? And I was like, he's from Hereditary? Next movie will be about alcoholism. Wait, yeah, let's get Fat Thor and some of the Thunderbolts together in the Alcoholics Anonymous movie. This is why they need to keep What If around. I think they're trying to do too much with What If. Like, have fun with it, man, and give us like a strange, even if it's like a 15-minute episode, you know? Give us little scenarios like that, like a What If mini. I think that's like another way to keep people interested in these characters, is like not just keeping them, I don't know, like kind of using it as a template. Like that's kind of what they are, right? A template to project like all these different scenarios and stories into. They're comic book characters after all. They're like, there's a reason that they've been around for like 100 years, because they haven't, people were able to interpret them in so many different ways. We really need an Onslaught movie. Most of the key characters are already established once DCU comes out. Or, sorry, Doomsday. Once Doomsday comes out. I saw D and then MCU. Let's see. Onslaught. Onslaught. It sounds brutal. You know what I'm hoping for? But I don't think it's going to come out anytime soon. I want to see an amalgam universe. Movies, but considering DCU is relaunching, I think we might have to wait. But I think it is a good sign that you know, both producers are friendly with each other. But I think we might have to wait until both of them are flopping. until we get like an amalgam universe, or even just like one like special event spin-off movie, you know. You could treat it as like a made for TV, but it's like a one-off, like made for movies special event. I remember I was like on the Wikipedia page for that. I was like, wait, these characters, and it's like characters that you wouldn't expect. Like it's not the obvious characters like a Batman Daredevil combination, but it was like what, Batman, Wolverine, the Dark Claw. Like that's so sick. That's so sick. I haven't seen Love and Thunder, but I heard they pushed the comedy too far and too hard. Yeah, I think... Yeah, I don't really remember much about what happened in the movie. I remember like scenes. But I do remember that the tone felt off for, I guess, like, considering, like, for the place that Thor was in his life. I remember the tone felt a little bit off. And I'm not saying, like, you know, it doesn't have to be a comedic movie, but if you're gonna have comedy in the movie, like, have it serve a little bit more purpose if you want it to, like, strike the right tone. If you want it to resonate better with audience. Like, I think maybe Thor using comedy as like a deflection or something. So I do think Thor is better when he's like a little bit funnier, like a little bit like fish out of water. For example, I love his interaction with Guardians of the Galaxy, because I mean, and it's not just him being funny, you know, it's like the whole scenario is funny, and I think that's how they could do funny Thor in a other settings. Yeah. Have I seen The Northman? I haven't. That's actually, I want to watch it like very soon. I'm not like super into Vikings. I did watch The Northman on Netflix. That was really fun. But The Northman I haven't watched. I do want to watch it though, because I mean, I was just thinking the other day, maybe Robert Eggers might be like one of my favorite directors. I don't know. Like when I'm thinking about like The Witch, I mean, I don't know much about like directors in general, but out of watching like The Witch and Nosferatu, I think I enjoyed both of those a lot, and I think he did like really interesting, not just shots to like pull you into the characters, like what they're feeling, but just his attention to detail and the realism. I like that he's like, I actually feel like I'm transported back in time to like the time period, you know. I feel like somebody they time traveled back in time and took a video there and brought that back to the real world. Like that's how I feel like when I'm watching his movies. So I would love to watch The Northman once I get around to it. Once I'm in the mood for something Viking-y. I heard it's like one of his better films too. Off topic, one movie I can't wait to see is FNAF 2 in December. I can't believe FNAF 1 even came out. I remember like seeing the trailer for that and I'm like, they're making a FNAF movie? What? Star Trek and X-Men did a car. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. I can't imagine superheroes being in like a sci-fi theme. But that's actually, I mean, not like, you know, Guardians exists, of course, and it's not like it doesn't exist, but like superheroes and like a Star Trek sci-fi seems like very specific to me. But I don't know much about Star Trek. My dad was very much Team Star Wars. You should watch Batman Ninja. It's an anime Batman movie. So good. And the sequel came out this year. Oh, Batman. So he's a ninja and Batman. I love these kinds of interpretations. That's so fun. What would I want to see? I want to see... Oh. I saw somebody say Superman is a magical girl. I would like to see, it doesn't have to be Superman magical girl, but like some kind of like superhero magical girl kind of thing, you know? I think that'll be fun. Take these iconic characters. I mean, hey, we're gonna do Avengers magical girl, Justice League magical girl. Take these characters that everybody knows and then just like slap some magical girl tropes on them. That could be fun. But I don't want it to be like actual girls. I want it to be like buff men like this, and then they do like all the twirls and the sparkles and stuff. I think that that'd be really funny. Maybe blasphemous. Yeah, Batman magical girl. Wouldn't that be silly? It can even just Batman and Superman. That's it. It's like panty and stocking magical girl. They're fighting crime. I would like that. I would tune in. I believe there is an anime called Gushing Over Magical Girls. Really? Like superhero? You guys want to know what my first superheroes were? The first superheroes I was obsessed with? And I think they don't get much credit as superheroes, but the Powerpuff Girls. The Powerpuff Girls. I had Powerpuff Girls blanket, and I think that's it. But I watched it every night. I love the Powerpuff Girls. And like, you don't really think of them as like, I mean, it makes sense that they had like an anime girl spin-off, or sorry, magical girl spin-off, but like when you're thinking of like superheroes, like you're never really thinking Powerpuff Girls. But I think that they should get some respect on their name. Put some respect on the Powerpuff Girls' names. They're learning their ABCs in kindergarten, 1, 2, 3s, and still saving the world? No excuses. Oh, not superheroes, just the magical girls. Wanted to bring it up. Oh, I see. Gushing over magical girls. And it's an ecchi. That's crazy. All right, let me take a look. Let me take a look. What am I gonna see? Can we all agree? Oh, the Reddit post. Can we all agree that gushing over magical girls is a disgrace to Maho Shoujo, please? Wow. I don't even know what this anime looks like yet. But the comment that made me click on it was I gave it a shot when I read ecchi, because when I read ecchi I thought it would be some wet boobs or white panties, and the animation is 10 out of 10, so I tried to give it a chance, but I couldn't get over the first minute of the first episodes. It's just straight up porn. I saw somebody in the preview, they said it's like, oh, it's basically a porn parody of the genre. What are you watching? What are you watching? This is an r/magical girls. Wait, it has 130 plus comments too. That's crazy. Okay, well, I'm looking at the images. I like the character designs. But the screen grabs that aren't blurred out are, You can definitely tell some sus is gonna happen in this show. And that's a bad thing. Granted, I did go towards the, I scrolled down a little bit to find the spicier comments. The top upvoted comment by a margin, by a wide margin, is, I'll settle for, it's not for everyone's cup of tea, and I'll respect that, but that's it. I guess that's gracious. I don't know. Yeah. And I'm guessing, I would say maybe it's like a demographic thing. I feel like probably the people who are in r/maho shoujo are very like what do you call it? I don't want to say aggressive fans, but like, you know, they are big fans of the maho shoujo genre. So maybe their appeal to it, and the people who are active in that subreddit enough to comment, their appeal to it is like the traditional like magical girl, maybe like purity and stuff. So by demographic alone, no wonder that they might be more averse to a more let's say mature and playful interpretation of the magical girl genre. But now I'm curious to check it out. What could possibly happen in the first few minutes? Let's see. Okay, I should probably eat breakfast. It's 3 o'clock. I should probably eat something. Oh my god. Wait. It's 3 o'clock. I need to do some more stuff before our Succession stream. I yapped way too long for this one. I'm so sorry. Okay, I should go. But I think I might push. No, whatever. I'll suck it up. I'll just do stuff after the stream. We're gonna be yapping some more later today. Just give me a second. We're yapping some more later today. Because in 2 hours, god damn. Yeah, I know, right? I talked way too long. In 2 hours, we're gonna be doing our Succession like recap stream. And then after that, immediately after, we're gonna be going to the Discord and watching episodes 7 and 8 of Succession. My favorite show of all time. In fact, wait. Go back here. In fact, take a look at my shirt. Disgusting Brothers is my Succession sweatshirt. I wore it so I could promote the stream, our watch along later today. Of the iconic Tom Greg combo. Why are they called the Disgusting Brothers? That's something you'll find out in season 4. But this week we will be on the 7th and 8th episode of season 1. If you missed the last episode, maybe stop by our Succession recap stream. I'll catch you all up to speed. Yeah. I don't know what else I have to say. I'm more flabbergasted by the fact that I've been yapping for 4 hours, or I guess 3.5 hours, and I should probably get going soon. Yeah, I hope to see you this evening. If you're not gonna make it to the stream, maybe you can make it to our watch along. If not, then I will see you next weekend. I think so. Yeah, next weekend, Friday. All right. Until next time, take care. Bye. Thank you for the stream. Thank you guys for hanging out with me for so long. Even though I feel like it probably could have gone a lot faster if I gathered my thoughts together. No, my thoughts were gathered. I had all these notes and stuff. I'm just like, I don't know. It's been a while since I've yapped like this, so I think I'm just not used to reeling in my thoughts as much as I was when I was in better practice of doing this. But hey, maybe that means we could do more Zatsus in the future. Yeah, I'm gonna be sending the raid over to our next waiting room. That's what I'm gonna do, because we shall be back here soon. Thank you guys for hanging out with me for such a long time. It really means a lot. I hope it's not too much of a hassle. Yeah. So we're gonna be talking episodes 3 through 6 in the recap. And then tonight we'll be watching episode 7 and 8. Episode 7 is my favorite episode of season 1. I love rewatching that. So yeah. I think it's a good like standalone episode. So even if you just want to come and see what the show is about, stop by for episode 7. You might be a little bit confused, but you'll still have a good time. All right. See you in a couple hours. Bye.